San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a lot to talk about on today's show. We're going to talk about the Aztec basketball game that was last night. What a waste of a great shot to send the game to overtime. We'll talk about that later on. USD men's basketball beat Grambling State last night. We got other Padres news to dive into, but I really want to spend the first segment talking about a great man that has passed away today, and that is Randy Jones. Today, the Padres announced in a release, with deep sorrow and heavy hearts, the Padres mourn the passing of our beloved left-hander, Randy Jones. Randy was a cornerstone of our franchise, the Cy Young Award winner, Padres Hall of Famer, and tremendous community ambassador, was a giant in our lives and will be greatly missed. I had a great opportunity to be able to work alongside Randy Jones at the beginning part of my broadcasting career, right out of college, when this company had the rights to Padres baseball. Randy Jones was a cornerstone of the pregame show. We had him on every single day as part of a segment that we would do on the pregame show, and that continued for a lot of years. And I remember as a producer and as a board op calling Randy Jones and being able to text Randy Jones and just, he would just shoot the S with you off air because, he'd be at his house or whatever like that. He wouldn't come in studio. That was back when we did all of our pregame shows from the studio, back when we were on 94.9. I mean, that was a long time ago, it seems like. And he was just such a great man. He would talk to you about life. He would talk to you about a lot of stuff. He'd, complain about what's going on with the Padres, but he just like a wealth of knowledge. Such a great person. And as I got to know him over the years, and I didn't get to know him as much as a lot of people out there have, and other people that I used to work with that have known him in a tight relationship, who I'm sure is, mourning his loss probably a little bit more than everybody else is, but he was a great man, a great ambassador for Padres baseball. I love the Padres. He passed away Tuesday at age 75. And when I think about it, as I went from a producer then to an opportunity to host the pre and post game show and being able to have conversations with Randy Jones, I learned so much about baseball and about pitching from Randy in like a 1.5 year to 2 year span that I had learned about baseball like growing up. And he wasn't only that. I mean, you'd hear him on the pre and post game show, right? I mean, I remember when he used to do the post game show back in the day. I remember him on the radio. He would do the post game show sometimes. It was great listening to Randy when I was a kid. I never got to watch him play. But what he meant to this organization, what he meant to the city of San Diego, to the community of San Diego, it's a tough loss today. And I know he was battling. I mean, the guy was battling for the last handful of years. Wasn't able to do as much as probably he wanted to. Didn't probably get to go to as many games he wanted to. Lived on a great property up in Escondido. He used to, and I remember a lot of people that would go work with Randy. There's a lot of kids that he helped pitch. He taught how to pitch. He would work with at his house in Escondido. He had a little mound, little bullpen at his house in Escondido, and parents and their kids would show up and he'd give pitching lessons. And I know he was working with the major league players like that too. The Union Tribune did a great article on him this morning. And it was written by Ryan Finley and Kirk Kenney. And they did a great job of outlining what Randy Jones meant to the city of San Diego. Early Padres pitching star who remained part of the organization and a fan favorite for decades. Padres announced the passing of Randy Jones Wednesday morning, this morning. The curly-haired left-hander pitched for the Padres from 1973 to 1980. He was the franchise's first 20-game winner, going 20-12 in 1975 with a league-leading 2.24 ERA to finish second to the Mets' Tom Seaver in the Cy Young Award voting. Jones won the Cy Young a year later when he went 22-14 with a 2.74 ERA. He was named the National League All-Star team both years, earning the distinction of getting the save, closing out the 1975 game, and the win after starting the 1976 game. The Padres retired Jones' number 35 jersey after his career was over, and fans see it at Petco Park among the franchise's other retired numbers when they enter the ballpark at home plate gate. In the press release from the Padres, they talk about how Randy was a cornerstone of our franchise for over 5 decades, highlighted by becoming the first Padres pitcher to win the Cy Young Award. Inducted into the Padres Hall of Fame in 1999, his impact and popularity only grew in his post-playing career, becoming a tremendous ambassador for the team and a true fan favorite. Crossing paths with RJ and talking baseball or life was a joy for everyone fortunate enough to spend time with him. Randy was committed to San Diego, the Padres, and his family. He was a giant in our lives and our franchise history. I mean, he might have been one of the funniest guys you would ever talk to. And he had no filter. I mean, he would just let it rip. He would let it rip. And behind the scenes, he'd let it rip about his, opinions of what the Padres are doing, some other stuff. I mean, and he'd let it rip in the clubhouse, too. I mean, he'd just flat out tell some of the big leaguers, hey, we got to be better here. We got to be better there. He's from Fullerton originally. He attended Brea Olinda High School and then went to Chapman before the Padres took him in the 5th round of the 1972 draft. He was in the big leagues a year later. Jones was called to the majors to replace pitcher Fred Norman in the Padres starting rotation. The cash-strapped franchise had traded Norman to the Cincinnati Reds with most of the $150,000 that came from Cincinnati, along with outfielder Gene Locklear and pitcher Mike Johnson, used to pay Dave Winfield's signing bonus after the outfielder was drafted out of the University of Minnesota. Jones, who was then 23, debuted for the Padres on June 16, 1973, against the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. Quote, I was 8-1 at the time in the Texas League, Randy Jones said 2 years ago for a story on the 50th anniversary of his debut. Opportunity time, right guy at the right place. Jones went on to say that his first inning was awfully pretty. Not much was going right for the Padres when Jones summoned from the bullpen. They were down 5 runs midway through the game when they would lose 10-2 before 24,452 fans. Randy Jones pitched a 1-2-3 5th inning, getting third baseman Ted Martinez and catcher Duffy Dyer on balls back to the mound before retiring pitcher Jerry Kuzman on a fly ball to right field. Had a great 5th inning. He returned for the 6th. Jones completed his warm-up pitches, and catcher Fred Kendall threw the ball down to second base. It was whipped around the infield and ended up in the hands of third baseman Dave Roberts. Dave runs over and flips me the baseball, Jones said, and then he asked me, do you know who the hitter is? I turned around, and it was Willie Mays. Damn, Randy Jones said. Jones remembers getting Mays in a 1-2 hole and knew exactly what he wanted to do next. Quote, figured I'd throw him a ball down and in, and he'd pull it foul. Jones said, I was wrong. Instead, Willie Mays hit a ball none of the fielders were going to get, as he had done 655 times previously over his Hall of Fame career. Quote, he hit the ball so hard you wouldn't believe it. It disappeared in the dark over the bullpen in left field. They still haven't found it. It must have gotten lost in the parking lot somewhere. Jones went 7-6 with a 3.16 on the season. His other 19 appearances were all as a starter. So funny. I just, even in that particular case. Randy Jones was a guy, and I remember he would talk about it all the time. And I use this quote to this day. Baseball players that make it to the Hall of Fame fail 70% of the time. Let them fail. Throw balls over the heart of throw balls in the zone, get them to ground out, throw it a little bit short, and when he swings at it, throw another 2 inches shorter than that, and just pitch to bats. Get guys out. He was a great man and a great Padre and a great figure of this community. And so it was tough to wake up to that news this day. And I'm blessed that I was able to get to know Randy Jones in some sort of way. And I'm sure he touched a lot of people out there as well. But the left-hander was a great guy. And I know Chris Ello and Tony Gwynn Jr. are going to talk a little bit more about that later on, a little bit more about Randy later on. I mean, both of those guys have known Randy for a lot more years than I have. I'm just blessed to say that I knew Randy Jones. And I got to meet Randy Jones and be able to talk to him and be able to work with him. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you have any fun memories of Randy Jones, we'll take your calls on that all morning long, all afternoon long, and just do our tribute to Randy. But we do want to dive into Aztec basketball from last night. San Diego State, tough loss as they lose to Troy in double overtime. We're going to break that down. But again, one final time, we thank Randy for everything that he's done for this community. We love Randy Jones, and he passes away at the age of 75.
I'm Chelsea Messenger, helping you beat
All guests on 97 through the fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future. When charged with the crime since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. All right. I want to talk about Aztec basketball now. I mean, I don't know. I watched the tail end of this game because I had USD men's basketball. USD men's basketball beat Grambling State last night. We'll talk more about college basketball in a little bit. Grambling State's head coach got ejected with 8:35 to go in the first half. It's something I've never seen that before. He was arguing that it was crazy. That game was crazy. And before I talk about the Aztecs, I'll talk about the USD game I was at last night. The head coach for Grambling State, was arguing that they were getting penalized for ticky-tack calls, and USD was bludgeoning their guys and not getting any fouls. Fair enough. He says got to call it both ways. But the problem was, Frank, he used foul language while he was doing it.
Yeah, there's
so
everyone
we got
knows.
teed. So we got teed. And then he said, bleep you bleeper bleeper. And it's like, see ya. He just got, the ref didn't even move. He was like this. Gone. And then he starts getting yelled, and he starts screaming at him. He gets carried off the court. It looked like a cartoon. His coaching staff physically picked him up, and he's screaming and yelling like he's getting pulled off on a stretcher.
Oh,
and he gets carried off the court to the locker room, wherever he goes and hangs out for the next hour and a half. So then you go, okay, well, the associate head coach probably takes over. The associate head coach wasn't even there. They were down to their third level coach. Now coaching the game. He was unbelievable. So USD had 6 free throws to attempt. Last night, the USD game, 62 combined free throws for both teams.
Jeez.
San Diego was 31 of 32. That's amazing to me.
That's where you win the game right there.
31 to 32. And the final score last night for USD over Grambling State, 78-68. They got him on the free throws. Outscored him 35-26 the first half, beat him 43-42 in the second half. I'll tell you what, Grambling's team and their kids battled right after their coach got tossed. I mean, they grinded out. They were down as many as 18 points and actually took the lead with 9 minutes to go in the second half. Valiant effort out of Grambling State. Now for USD, started off really good. Got to see Tyler Johnson out there dishing the rock around. He had 12 points in the first half. Lane was making good threes. I mean, they played really well. Middle chunk looked not very good, and then had to turn it on at the end. And that was San Diego beating Grambling last night, 78-68. All right, let's talk about the Aztecs. So I was at that game, and then I came home in time to watch the end of the Aztec game. And I don't know what the Aztecs were doing. But you get Magoon Guath back. Magoon's got 20 points on the night. He finishes with 20 points in 28 minutes. Guy looked legit. 5 for 5 from the field. And even hit 2 3-pointers. 8 for 12 for the free throw line. But the Aztecs shot 71% for the free throw line. And just missed a lot of open shots. But the other thing, and this is what I didn't understand. San Diego State, like down the stretch, got like super sloppy. I mean, that was the worst defense I've seen by a Steve Fisher, Brian Dutcher team. I mean, this is a team that prides himself on defense. And they had like Troy, who has they had the Campbell brothers light them up for 16 points and 9 points. They had 4 players at double figures from Troy, a team that lost to Cal State Northridge, and a team that lost to another team in Southern LMU. San Diego State needed a Miles Bird half-court shot to just send it to overtime, and they still couldn't put Troy away.
I have that call ready to go, by the way, if you wanted to hear it.
From TV?
Yes.
Late in the game. You got to play it, but here's the deal, Aztec fans. That shot is now not heralded for a great play at Viejas Arena. Now that shot's just a wasted shot. But here's what it was. If you missed it, Aztecs were down, and they were down 3 with like 3 seconds to go.
89-86 with 2.4 to go.
2.4 to go. Most of Viejas has already left the building. after an embarrassing loss to Troy.
Because they were down, 12 with 3 minutes to go. The fact that he even got there was impressive.
And I knew it was going to be bad because Troy jumped out to a 10-point lead early. And so they pulled in 3 with 2 point whatever seconds left, and this is what happened.
Oh. 3-point game. In it goes to Bird. Bird for the tie to send it to overtime, and he got it! Oh! Miles Bird!
Steve Quiss on the call.
Mount West Network.
Our friend Steve Quiss calls UCSD games and does the games on the KOSI. What a shot. It was a great shot. And you're like, now you got to go steal this thing. Played poorly the entire game against Troy. The entire game. Thomas Dowd had 19 rebounds against you. Anybody know who Thomas Dowd is? That sounds like a made-up name. Thomas Dowd. He had 25 points and 19 rebounds. Are you kidding me? Got a double-double last night, but like a massive one. 25 points and 19 rebounds to Thomas Dowd. We're talking about a team that lost to LMU by 10 and lost to Cal State Northridge by 10. What? Like, what are we doing here, San Diego State? I mean, this is a team that's expected to be like a contender in the NCAA tournament. You can't be dropping games to Troy. You can't. And it's just, it was a frustrating product last night. Now you got Michigan. I mean, here's the thing. Like, John Rothstein put this out, and it's totally true. By losing to Troy, you now have to do some serious damage in the Players Era Festival, or whatever it's called, and you have to win multiple games over there if you want to be considered an at-large team in the NCAA tournament, because you know what their committee's going to look at? They're going to look at Troy. They're going to look at your loss at Troy. You're San Diego State. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. You got to play the Mountain West Conference, who has been lousy. Unfortunately, one of the better teams in the Mountain West, Boise State, already lost to Hawaii Pacific. They lost to a team that is in a strip mall. They lost to a team that is a college in a strip mall in Hawaii. The Mountain West Conference is not looking good. UNLV has lost multiple bye games already. They're not going to make up ground in the conference. This was a catastrophically bad loss for an Aztec team that is expected to be incredibly good this year. Now, based on what I saw Michigan do against TCU, and TCU is terrible at basketball. They are terrible. They are not good. Okay? They're just not very good. As somebody that watches a lot of TCU basketball, they're not very good. They were toe-to-toe with Michigan the other night. So the Aztecs can bounce back and beat Michigan in the Players Era Festival next week. But I mean, you're talking about a Troy team that beat Furman by 3 points, lost to LMU 74-63, lost to Northridge 94-85. You better hope that they go up into the Galen Center and beat up on USC. Otherwise, it's going to look bad. It's going to destroy your Ken Pom. Just an inexcusable loss if you're San Diego State. Just inexcusable. But they have an opportunity now with the Players Era Festival, whatever it's called. Is that what it's called?
Players Era, I believe it's the Players Era Festival.
Festival, tournaments.
I mean,
just don't make it a fire festival if you're San Diego State, and you should be okay.
It was not the game that you expected San Diego State to play last night by any stretch of the imagination. There were a couple of times in overtime where the game just felt over, and I wasn't around, so I'm watching it on the ESPN Gamecast, and I'm seeing San Diego State up by 4, up by 5 with a minute and a half to go in overtime, miss 3 ball by whoever. It's like, what are we doing? Just try to drive the lane, try to get a foul, try to get points any way you can, and not just jacking threes, because that's how they ended up catching up. Missed threes, missed deep shots, and Troy capitalized on it.
San Diego State puts themselves into a jam when they play with their food. And they play with their food a lot. And they've done that for a long period of time. And the thing is, it's like, that's just kind of the style of San Diego State basketball. That's why it's not that surprising that they lose a game like that to Troy. Now, here's the good news, though. is they have a great opportunity in front of them next week against Michigan and Oregon and probably one more Power 4 school where they can play up to the level of their competition. I mean, if they beat Michigan on November 24th, they're right back. I mean, it's right back into conversation. But they played sloppy basketball. They do that from time to time. And usually what the case is they put themselves in a situation where their defense usually bails them out. Their defense didn't bail them out last night. And here's the other thing. I didn't understand. They had a 1-point lead. Basketball people, tell me where I'm wrong. They had a 1-point lead last night in double overtime in one of the final possessions. A 1-point lead. If I go to the second OT. They had the ball with a minute and 1 second left when Magoon got the steal. The clock gets to 37 seconds. It's a 1-point lead. Why are they chucking up a
exactly?
three-pointer?
Why is Dixon Waters shooting a three?
It made no sense. I don't understand. Basketball people, tell me why that was the right move. I don't know why it was. I couldn't tell you why that was the right move. I guess it was an open look. But you're talking about a team that shot 39% from the three ball. Okay? Dixon Waters was 1 for 5 from 3. To me, that strikes me as I got to be the guy. Let me go be the guy right now and put us up by 4 instead of driving in the lane, trying to draw a foul and get to the free throw line. You have a 1-point lead. Why? It made no sense.
I mean, it looks like a center up 3, but why? Again, why are you doing that? You're trying to get points. You're trying to put the game away, not embarrass them. You've already gotten past the point of embarrass them. You're in double overtime against Troy. You embarrassing them is no longer on the cards. That's already gone. Why are you trying to embarrass them? Just win the game. Just focus on winning the game. You're lucky to be where you are in the first place. And you had a lead late in the first overtime that you blew.
Well, they kept chucking up threes. It made no sense. I mean, San Diego State's never been like a big 3-point shooting team. They just haven't. It's been a long time since Rayhan was there and hitting threes in the corner. I mean, you have the size. And how many players for Troy fouled out last night?
Yeah.
And 3 guys foul out. 2 starters fouled out last night. One that had 20 points. And the other one was Kobe Campbell. So you have multiple backups in for Troy in double overtime. And they're just chucking up threes. Get to the hoop. Get to the line. And guess what? You could get 3 points the old-fashioned way. It didn't make any sense last night. I'm baffled why Reese Dixon Waters took that shot when you're up by 1.
Another issue that I see, and some people might see this as a big issue, others might not. You opened up the season with 2 pay games against Long Beach State and Idaho State. Then you take 9 days off before playing a team in the Sun Belt. Now, granted, you should be able to beat a team in the Sun Belt on your own floor, but 9 days off when playing 2 pay games, that's a long layoff to have, especially, and to have that kind of competition come up next after that layoff. That's on the scheduling as well. And that's on San Diego State with the pay games.
I don't know if that has to do with the fact that they had to do with the Players Festival and stuff like that. And it's hard for San Diego State to schedule games. But shooting 71% for the free throw line is not great.
No,
it's not great. It's not good. That is failing basketball. It's failing basketball. I mean, last night USD almost made every single one of their free throws, which is shocking to me because they hardly ever do that. But I don't care what team you are. If you cannot make your free throws, you're not going to win in March. You know, I say that sometimes the USD broadcast think they're going to make like the CBI or the NIT. San Diego State, you got to be thinking about Mountain West tournament time and NCAA tournament time. You have to make free throws. You have to. And they were bad at that. They weren't very good on defense. They couldn't really get anything going offensively, and the 3-point game was ridiculous.
And as we've seen with college football, it's an early season loss. You can recover from an early season loss. You just can't make games like this a habit where games you should be blowing out, you're scratching away, having to force an overtime with a prayer of a shot. But if there's one saving grace, it's that it's an early season loss and you can recover from that.
Yes, that is a saving grace. And here's the thing. I think the most frustrating thing for Aztec fans is even with this basketball team that has a lot of returning players and a very loaded lineup and a lot of stars, you would think that they would be able to put teams away. They have the talent. They should be able to put teams away that are like Troy. If they can't put teams away like Troy, what are they going to do against some of the premier teams in college basketball? It's something that needs to be fixed and something that needs to be worked on. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll talk more about Aztec basketball. We will also take a dive into what's going on in free agency with Major League Baseball when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97 to the Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. This holiday, serve something truly special. 100% grass-fed beef, lamb, and bison, plus pasture-raised pork and poultry from U.S. Wellness Meats. Sustainably raised, shipped to your door. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. Talking Aztecs basketball after a crushing loss last night to Troy, which is not a great loss for San Diego State. I mean, that is a loss they could keep out of the NCAA tournament. As dramatic as that sounds, San Diego State needs to start racking up some wins now against some Power 4 opponents that they have an opportunity to do so next week. But that's a loss that's going to hurt them in the long run unless Troy wins the Sun Belt. But even then, it's not great. It gives you less freedom when you go to Mountain West play. And here's the thing about the Mountain West Conference. It's difficult. I don't care how bad the Mountain West Conference might be right now in the non-con. Winning conference games on the road is very difficult for every single college team. But committees and people that make decisions on tournaments, for some reason, don't view it like that. And so if you're San Diego State, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt of being in the Mountain West Conference. And guess what? You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt being in the Pac-12 next year either. This is why you have to be in a bigger conference. You can go 500 in conference play and make the NCAA tournament easily. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Well, boy, I share your frustration on Aztec basketball. I'll get to that in a moment. First of all, condolences and prayers and love to Randy Jones, his family, and everyone associated with Randy. He was, from my memories growing up here, he was one of the first well-known, nationally known great Padres that came along, and just a remarkable career. They called him the little lefty. They didn't have to worry about pitch clocks back then because Randy would be done in about an hour and a half with all of his ground balls. So lots of love to Randy. God, we're going to miss him. He was just a great human being and a great Padre, and just sad news, but not unexpected. So going back over to Aztec basketball real quick, Brian Dutcher admits and has admitted in the past that he doesn't put much structure into his basketball strategy. He lets the kids go out and play. We call it playground basketball from, I've grown up here and played a lot of basketball in my time. That's what you saw last night. There was no strategic reason why, as you guys pointed out, when you have a decided height advantage and you don't take advantage of that, I don't care if it's 2-point buckets. I'd take 10 2-point buckets as opposed to 4 or 5 3-point misses, which this is what we were seeing all night. The defense was sloppy. You're telling me that you can't guard these little boys that were on the other side, and the redheaded kids, I can't remember their name, the twin brothers, whatever they were. My God, they made Aztec deep enders look like they're in junior high playing. So what the Aztecs have to do, and I don't understand why Brian doesn't do this, is get some damn structure especially the beginning of the season when you've got a lot of new faces, you've got, trying to figure out who's going to be able to fit into this system, who's going to be able to be counted on to produce. Great point about Reese Waters at the end. I don't know what in the world that man was thinking, and why. I don't even understand why he's in the starting lineup or even in the lineup. He should have to earn his way back. He looks very rusty, and I think that hurt him last night. I don't mean to blame him, put all the blame on him, but just as a point of fact as to how screwed up this game was. This is on the coaches as well as the players, and they have this idea of entitlement at San Diego State basketball, and then they get themselves in these mucky situations that should never happen, as last night did. And Brian's got to get a hold of himself on this. This is his one blind spot that he has, and he's inherited this from Steve Fisher. They all came up with this attitude. We're just going to let the guys go out and show off their playground talent. That'll work a lot of times, but when you get to critical situations, when you're not having a great night with the playground play, you damn well better have a backup plan, and they had nothing last night.
Hey, you know what, Kevin? There's a lot of things about that you're right. I mean, Aztec basketball has been like that forever. They do play good defense. They always play good defense. They work on the defense. They're usually one of the best teams in the country that can guard. Last night that didn't show up, and then you have nothing structure-wise on offense. And you're right, but that's what Aztec basketball has been. Now, maybe that's what they have to do in order to get better players. Maybe that's what they have to do in order to, compete at a higher level, than be another team. I mean, they have a lot of success to show that, it does work, but they get themselves in trouble where they have to grind out games against teams like Troy, and those are teams that they should just bury. I mean, go look at the other teams in the country. I mean, at this point in time, San Diego State, is this out on a limb? Let me ask you this question, Aztec fans. San Diego State basketball is one of the premier basketball programs on the West Coast, correct? Does anybody disagree with that? If you're thinking about West Coast basketball, you're thinking about basically three teams right now. You're thinking about Gonzaga, you're thinking about Arizona, you're thinking about San Diego State, and every once in a while, you'll think about UCLA. That's basically it. Sometimes a Mountain West school comes up and down. But on the West Coast, I mean, if you go Utah over, those are the teams that are the best teams in the country on the West Coast. I know the resources are different at Arizona. As somebody that has attended Arizona, as somebody that has grown up watching Arizona basketball and understanding the resources they have, Arizona basketball is a slightly different animal, but at the same time, Arizona doesn't play with their food too much. They play teams like Utah Tech and Northern Arizona, and they blow them out of the water. Then they go out there and handle teams like Florida and UCLA. I mean, Arizona is the number 4 team in the country right now. They just beat UCLA 69-65. They beat Florida at the beginning of the season 93-87. They got Denver this week. And Denver's not, I mean, they're not good. They're going to be joining the West Coast Conference soon, but that's another team they're just going to bury. And they don't call off the dogs. San Diego State was a 15.5-point favorite last night. They cannot be messing around with the teams that they are huge favorites on. And guess what? Arizona and Gonzaga are the 2 premier programs on the West Coast. I think San Diego State's up there with them. San Diego State gets to play Arizona December 20th. That's another team that they're going to have to go toe-to-toe with. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Stacy in San Diego. Stacy, what's going on?
Hey, love the show, man. There's a lot to unpack in this, right? So I played at South Alabama. We were in the Sun Belt. You can't lose to Troy. Correct. Even as us, you can't drop that game. And you're absolutely correct. San Diego State, it's a top 5 West Coast program. You can't drop that game, period. Now, I do want to say, as far as that kick-out 3, that starts in AAU. And it's the way that it's coached is terrible. I have a bunch of 8th grade girls that already have D1 scholarships, and the way that they coach is 5 out, space the ball, and it's drive and kick for threes. And they're teaching that at 7th grade, 8th grade. It's not drive and dump down. It's not drive and take the foul. It's drive and kick. And it's a thing, and it's caught on. Our team went to Washington. We left with the championship because we play defense. We go to the bucket. We went to Phoenix. We left with the championship. We play defense. We go to the bucket. But everybody else is drive and kick, and I'll take those threes. I'll let you take those threes all day, but it transfers, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up. And then once you get to the college level, they're doing the same thing, and it's not good basketball. It's just not. And it's taught from the youth, and it starts at 6th, 7th grade, and that's just how it's rolling out, and it's a shame to see. Love the show. Wanted to throw that out there, but that's the way basketball is progressing at the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe it, Stacey. I appreciate the phone call, man. I mean, I watched San Diego basketball, and USD is doing the same thing. Going into last night, USD was 7th in three-point percentage in the country. They're 7th in the country in three-point percentage. And they're jacking up threes all day long. But the thing is, you live and die with the three ball. You play that way, it's one thing. But USD last night, they were 9 for 31 from the three-point line. They shot the ball 31 times from the three-point line. San Diego State was 9 for 23. They actually shot better than USD did. And I know I'm talking about two separate games. But you look at the 23 attempts. Shot 39%. Driving the lane. They shot 47% from the field. I mean, just based on percentages, that's a low percentage shot by Reese Dixon Waters with a 1-point lead. Get in the lane and get yourself to the free throw line when it matters. If you want to do that the entire time, you want to do that, throughout the game, fine. But when it gets to crunch time and you need points, you can't be doing the kick out anymore. And guess what? A lot of good teams in the country, they'll stop doing it. They'll stop doing it. Stacey's right on that. They are a top program on the West Coast. They are. When you think about West Coast college basketball right now, you're thinking of Arizona, you're thinking of Gonzaga, you're thinking of San Diego State, BYU's trying to climb back into it. Those are the schools you're talking about. Every once in a while, UCLA with Mick Cronin puts together a good year. But those are the programs. And those programs, you know what they don't do, Frank? They don't lose to Troy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They don't lose to a Sun Belt team. You can't. You're going to talk about this new Pac-12 you're going to be a part of, right? And this new Pac-12 conference. And it's, you know what? It might not be great for football, but we got Gonzaga, and we got San Diego State, and we got Utah State and Boise State, and we got this great basketball conference. Well, you know what? You can't be losing to Troy if you think you're in a good basketball conference. I watch a good basketball conference on a daily basis. I watch the Big 12 conference. That is a great basketball conference. It is a different animal in that conference. San Diego State, trying to be at that level, you can't lose to teams like Troy. And you can't get off to slow starts. I mean, when San Diego State, like a couple years ago, right, knowing that they're going to be able to roll through a lot of games, it's like they could get off. They used to be able to get off to slow starts and be able to overcome it. In this day and age of college basketball, you can't get off those slow starts. And Troy jumped on them from the get-go. Troy jumped out to a 10-point lead in the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, they went on an 11-2 run to get the game started. You can't have that if you're San Diego State. And when you're a team built on playing defense and not really running any type of offense at all, you can't get off to rough starts because it's going to be a hard hill to climb all the way up. And they almost got out of it, and then they went right back to what they were doing at the beginning part of the game. Started playing with their food. It's an inexcusable loss last night for San Diego State basketball. And it's disappointing because they're so much better than that, right? They got a good roster. They got a talented roster. They got a good coaching staff with Brian Dutcher, Dave Velasquez. But you can't have that happen. The only saving grace right now for San Diego State basketball is the fact that they're about to go to a tournament where they're going to play a lot of good teams that are going to be battling for tournament play. You're going to take on the 7th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. You're going to play Oregon. And based on how everything seeds out, you're going to be playing another good team in the Power 4. And then you got Arizona on December 20th. So you have a little bit of time to make up ground, but you can't let this roll into a couple of losses. If this is your only loss going into conference play, you flushed it. But if you drop another one, and you might split. Like if they split between Michigan and Oregon, you'll take that. But it's just an unfortunate loss. And everybody that was complaining about San Diego State, myself included, not being ranked to start the season, the AP poll is right. They're like, yeah, this is why we don't rank San Diego State. They couldn't beat Troy. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. It's enough of the beating a dead horse. We all know how bad of a loss that was, so we're gonna move on. But if you want to call in about the Aztecs, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We are going to dive into the 11 o'clock hour, which is going to be focused on Padres and Major League Baseball and looking at options for the Padres in free agency and how the Padres could build out a rotation. A lot of latest rumors from free agency, a lot of latest rumors on what's going on in the trade market, and we're going to have it all for you in the 11 o'clock hour. I do want to mention, again, if you're just tuning in, Randy Jones passed away last night at the age of 75. We did a tribute to him to get the show started. And again, just an incredible man. An incredible man. If you want to call in and tell a Randy Jones story, open phone lines for that as well. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Lost a good man today in Randy Jones.
Yeah, and I never really had the opportunity to have a one-on-one interaction being here for the games and when covering here in the studio for Ben and Woods when they would go to spring training or go to fantasy camp. I can definitely see how a lot of people in this organization, this family, feel like they've lost like a father or a grandfather today. I would expect a 35 or a RJ patch on the jerseys this year, a properly big loss for the Padres.
Yeah, huge loss for the Padres. A great man, and our thoughts and feelings and prayers are all with the Jones family today. What a wonderful man that Randy Jones was. All right. That is some interesting news right there. I can't believe that on the Michael Toglia situation. The Rockies have designated for assignment Michael Toglia. I don't know what the Padres think about Michael Toglia, but Michael Toglia is a guy that was a high draft pick, and he's got great numbers on Baseball Savant. He had a rough year last year. But
who in that organization did not have a rough year last year?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his numbers right now in the big leagues are not very good. But I think it'd be worth a minor league sign.
Yeah, I would send something out to Toglia. I'd send something out to Christopher Morel as well.
I mean, he's going to be 27. He's going to be 27 next year.
Christopher Morel would be a solid bench piece here too. He just got DFA'd by Tampa last night.
I know he played in Colorado, but Toglia had 25 home runs in 2024. I mean, could he be a Gavin Sheets? It's possible. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show here, live and local, each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We do want to dive into what's going on in free agency around Major League Baseball and what's going on with a lot of the situation with the San Diego Padres and free agency. So what we wanted to start the show today with, and a couple of things moved around, obviously, with the way that the Aztecs game finished last night and with, the passing of Randy Jones. And we talked a lot about Randy in the first hour. But you go and look at the overall market. And the thing that's interesting, and we got this from the Jeff Passan article, correct, Frank?
Yes.
About who's going to command the most in the open market. I find it funny that Major League Baseball. I mean, the Dylan Cease situation is interesting to me because the Dylan Cease information or a situation is a situation in which a lot of Padres fans don't really want him back unless it's cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty fair to say. Based on what Jeff Passan has been reporting, it sounds like Dylan Cease might get the most money out of any starter on the open market. This offseason free agent pitching market headlined by 3 frontline starters: Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, and Japan's Tetsuya Imai. Imai. Each is expected to land major contracts as numerous teams aggressively seek rotation upgrades. High-budget contenders such as the Mets, Cubs, Red Sox, Orioles, and Blue Jays are all shopping at the top of the market, while the Angels, Astros, A's, Giants, and others are also lurking. With so much demand and limited supply, all 3 pitchers are projected to command huge paydays, possibly exceeding $150 million. Framber Valdez is the most reliable and consistent option. Over the past 4 years, he ranks second in Major League Baseball in innings pitched and owns the league's highest ground ball rate at 60%. Few pitchers allow fewer home runs. Valdez relies heavily on a sinker curveball changeup mix and is known for efficiency rather than strikeouts. He has also proven himself on the biggest stage, twice outdueling Zach Wheeler in the 2022 World Series. His profile makes him especially attractive to teams with strong infield defense and smaller ballparks. Dylan Cease, on the other side, is a prototype of a modern power pitcher, owns one of MLB's best strikeout rates, and pairs a big fastball with a dominant slider. However, Cease does struggle with walks and has posted ERAs over 4.5 in 2 of the past 3 seasons. Even so, his upside, highlighted by a 2.20 ERA in 2022, makes him appealing to teams betting they can unlock more consistency. Like Zach Wheeler before him, Cease's elite raw stuff could land him a 9-figure deal from a team confident in its pitching development system. The last one is Tetsuya Imai, the top NPB starting pitcher available, may end up with the biggest contract of the trio due to his age and huge upside. Posted a 1.92 ERA and excellent strikeout to walk numbers in 2025 for the Cebu Lions. Although his 5'11 frame is smaller, he throws up to 99 miles an hour and has a deep arsenal, though he relied heavily on his fastball slider combo in Japan. Opinions on him may vary widely across MLB, but the teams that like him really like him, especially those worry of falling further behind the Dodgers, who have thrived in Japanese talent market. His posting window will open Wednesday and close January 2nd. Because of market pressure and heavy demand, all three pitchers, Valdez, Cease, and Amai, could exceed expectations and surpass the $150 million threshold. This trend extends to other top Japanese stars as well, with teams willing to pay more rather than miss out. Now, you look at these players with the pitching. And the thing is, it sounds like Dylan Cease is going to get a high mark. He's going to get a lot of money and probably be one of the highest paid guys on the market. So if Dylan Cease is one of the highest paid guys in the market, that kind of puts into perspective what you have to pay for a pitcher that is going to be a lights out guy. I mean, Dylan Cease is going to be one of those pitchers that gets signed to be a number 1 or number 2 in somebody's rotation. Padres fans probably don't want Dylan Cease back for a number 1 or number 2 in the rotation. I think that's fair to say, Frank.
I agree.
So now you're thinking about like how much money it's going to cost to get said pitchers. This is why a lot of fans have said we need to develop our own pitching talent. But this is another reason why you can't bring back Luis Arraez when it comes to money, because you need as much money as possible to try to find solutions to your starting rotation. And it might be some bargain basement type arms. I mean, you have to go get creative. Now, in terms of free agent, I would be shocked if the Padres signed any starting pitcher in free agency. I would be shocked. I think the players that the Padres could get in free agency that are pitchers are guys that are in the middle, that aren't going to cost way too much, but they're still going to cost a little bit more. And you got to take chances on some players. I think you might have to be in a situation where you're taking chances on guys that might be bullpen arms that you need to turn into a starter. There is a part of this conversation in Jeff Passan's article that he wrote yesterday as a preview for free agency that talks about starter or reliever. Much like Clay Holmes last year and Seth Lugo and Michael King. By the way, 2 of those guys were Padres when they moved to the starting role. Brad Keller is seen as by some teams as the perfect starter to reliever back to starter conversation or conversion. Keller, who's 30 years old, was one of the best relievers in baseball this past season, with his velocity jumping 3.5 miles an hour and his slider turning to one of the game's finest as he moved from the rotation to the bullpen. Worst case scenario, like Jordan Hicks, Keller fails at starting but returns to relieving, or perhaps he becomes a Nick Martinez or Mike Soroka, 2 more free agents this winter whose ability to swing between roles has become one of their hallmarks. The same could be said for Anthony Kay and Foster Griffin, a pair of left-handers returning from Japan, or right-hander John Duplantier, who finally found control and success. None of them is set up to do it well as Keller. One good reason in the bullpen, and he's going to get a 3-year. One good season in the bullpen, he's going to get a 3-year deal. Whether it's to start or relieve is up to the people paying. I think Brad Keller is very interesting for the San Diego Padres. To me, that's another spot that they'd have to go after. You have to go get somebody that's affordable. I don't know how much money the Padres have to spend, but I'm going to tell you right now, if they're going to try to stay around what they spent last year, it's going to be via trade and it's going to be creativity. They already have $201 million, according to Fangraphs, into their payroll. Their payroll last year was $211 million. I don't know how much they're willing to spend around there. They keep saying around this number. Well, let's just say it's $30 million. That doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room to add to major holes that the Padres have. So you have to start thinking creatively. You have to start thinking about, do I go get a Brad Keller to be a starting pitcher? Do I try to get somebody like Nick Martinez, even though he's up there in age? Am I taking a chance on a Chris Paddock type player? These are all questions that need to be answered. I don't necessarily think Chris Paddock, but I think Chris Paddock is the perfect type of name that you can understand of a guy that you have to take a big chance on. According to Fangraphs, Brad Keller is expected to sign a 2-year, $12 million deal at $6 million a year. That is the type of player that you can probably add to the Padres rotation. It's a risk. You have to take a risk, but that is where you're at. Again, what Dylan Cease is demanding, or should I say what he should be getting, and what Ranger Suarez and Framber Valdez are going to try to get by denying qualifying offers, you're expecting them to get paid a lot of money. The Padres don't have the resources to do that. They don't have the money. Let's just say they have $30 million to spend. Maybe they have a little bit more. You can't put $25 million of that into one pitcher. That doesn't fix all of your problems. You still need a couple more pitchers. Probably could use a little bit more bullpen help. And you need a power bat. And power bats aren't going for less than $5 million a year. They're just not. So you have to find ways to get creative. That's why, players like Mike Soroka might be in play. That's why players like Brad Keller might be in play. That's why players like in the middle of this part of the free agent group of starting pitchers, you might take a chance. You might need to take a chance on an older player like Jose Quintana. I mean, according to Fangraphs, they've updated it. They think Michael King will get a 4-year, $88 million deal. But the thing is, and some people in the chat are saying like, oh, Keller worries me for how far he fell off again. All these guys should worry you. All of these pitchers should worry you. I mean, maybe you could get Dustin May for cheap, but again, he's going to worry some people. People like Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's going to get maybe $22 million a year. If you have the money for Zach Gallen, you probably have the money for Michael King, so why don't you just bring Michael King back? Dustin May's got electric stuff. Maybe Ruben Niebla can fix him. I mean, these are the type of names that you have to think about when you're looking for starting pitching. Maybe you'll get a Jose Quintana for 1 year, $7 million. I mean, again, it's not great. How do you build this rotation? We'll talk about that when we come back. There might be some solutions besides just signing free agents. And you know what? Trades might be more in the Padres connection. But what are you going to trade? We'll discuss this next on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11:19. There is a deal that's been put out by Andrew Marchand on like the TV stuff. I'm going to wait for the Padres on that one. But it sounds like Major League Baseball is going to announce some new TV deals with NBC, Netflix, and ESPN. And it sounds like ESPN, at least in the article by Andrew Marchand, is going to have they're going to have rights. Here's what it says. ESPN will have in-market rights to 6 clubs and will have the ability to add more if they become available. The 6 teams are the Cleveland Guardians, San Diego Padres, Minnesota Twins, Arizona Diamondbacks, Colorado Rockies, and the Seattle Mariners.
Which are all teams that aren't on a network of their own already. They're broadcasted by Major League Baseball.
Correct. So that's interesting. And I don't know what a lot of this stuff is in terms of because it's super vague on the
details
the details in the article. I know anything that involves the Padres usually put something out, so I'm going to kind of wait.
Awful Announcing had the other day that ESPN has purchased the rights to MLB.TV.
I saw that too.
So again, it's a question of, at this point, how are you watching the game? Is it going to be, do you have to do what the MLS just stopped with Apple TV Plus, which is the purchasing Apple TV Plus and purchasing an extra package? Or do you just have it? We were talking to Adam about it during the break. I can watch the Islanders on ESPN Plus. They have so many, they put almost every NHL game on ESPN Plus, both broadcasts. You don't have to pay anything extra for it.
But you can't watch the Ducks.
I can't watch the Ducks because it's a local blackout.
Right, because they have their own thing.
Right. So are you going to be able to watch the Padres here? Or is it going to be blacked out? Or are you going to have to pay like an MLB TV Plus subscription for it? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. That this deal is just getting broken now, so I'm sure
here's the key points on this. And again, I don't know how you're going to be able to. I don't know how the Padres are going to tell you how to watch the product, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't know the money value. We just don't know. All we know is that ESPN now has the rights to the Padres, is what this article is saying. So, I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate on what the deal is going to be. I'm sure the Padres have already hashed that out and are putting that together, and they will tell you when they have details on this, or that they want to release details about how to watch their games. Major League Baseball is finalizing a new national TV and streaming deal with NBC and Peacock, Netflix, and ESPN after ESPN opted out of the final 3 years of its previous contract. So NBC and Peacock, Netflix, and ESPN are going to share national MLB broadcast rights starting next season. So national games will be on NBC and Peacock, Netflix, and ESPN. ESPN's opt-out triggered a full restructuring of MLB's media packages. Total value, Major League Baseball will receive $750 million per season compared to the previous $1.65 billion that ESPN alone would have paid those 3 years. What each platform gets. NBC and Peacock is now the new home of Sunday Night Baseball and the first round of the MLB playoffs. So NBC, Frank, bought what ESPN had.
Yes.
ESPN had Sunday Night Baseball, and they had the first round of the MLB playoffs. That is now owned by NBC. They will air games on NBC unless there are conflicts with the NFL and NBA. If so, games are moved to Peacock. That's unfortunate. Peacock regains the Sunday morning package that previously was on Roku. So Peacock will have the Sunday morning. So you're going to have that early Sunday morning game.
So Sunday is moving to Peacock, basically.
Correct.
Sunday baseball is on Peacock.
They will have the morning game that day. That's super early. And then they will have the Sunday night baseball package. And if it doesn't conflict with the NFL. So that means for September baseball, if they do Sunday night baseball in September, those 4 games are going to be on Peacock because they're going to be conflicting with
the NFL.
And there's not going to be any conflicts with the NBA.
No.
And you know what? No.
End of the season. Yeah.
What is NBC's contract with the NBA? Do they have the playoffs?
I would. Have
there might be the first couple.
Something.
There might be the first couple of MLB games on Sunday Night Baseball might be on Peacock only too.
Mhm.
Who knows? I don't know. They'll have the details on this, but this is what the article is saying. Netflix, first ever exclusive MLB package for the streamer. Opening day marquee game starts with Yankees Giants in 2026.
Oh,
Netflix will have the opening day marquee game, like that opening night game.
yes.
They will have the home run derby, and they will have the Field of Dreams game. And they're paying $50 million for that.
Okay.
So in order to watch the home run derby, you got to watch it on Netflix.
I don't know anyone who's watching the home run derby this day, but
We were barely watching on ESPN. The fact that I'm gonna have to log into Netflix to watch it is gonna make me like not really watch it. New deal for ESPN equals the old financial commitment, $1.65 billion over 3 years. They get all out of market games, the equivalent of current MLB.TV. In-market rights to 6 teams, including the Padres, and 30 exclusive weeknight games. ESPN Radio remains home of Sunday Night Baseball, the playoffs, and the World Series. ESPN will now control and sell MLB.TV, priced similarly at $150 a year, with the MLB app still functioning during at least the first year.
So that sounds like you're going to have to pay a package if you want to watch it on the ESPN app.
For out of market games.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like this is going to be the same deal that the Padres had with MLB. It's just going to be on ESPN. I just don't know if there's a cable deal for ESPN, right? So,
right.
Based on that, if you just watch the Padres on stream, it sounds like everything might be the same. I don't know. Again, this is just an article that was put out. There was no details specifically about the Padres. We will get that from the Padres. But it seems like instead of you going to the MLB app, you just go to ESPN. And that's for the out-of-market stuff.
I wonder if, because they're taking over the broadcasting for local, I wonder if you're going to have to pay that $20 a month to watch the Padres on the app like you had to last year.
If you don't have cable, you probably do. I don't know if it's going to be on cable or not. That's probably what that situation's going to be. I doubt it's ESPN's involved. I mean, you're going to have to pay something. It's not like Victory Plus where you get to watch Ducks games for free. MLB strategy. MLB is following the NFL's model. MLB, multiple partners to broaden reach. Adding Netflix puts MLB into the world's biggest streaming ecosystem. Relinquishing MLB.TV to ESPN is the most dramatic shift. MLB had held that asset tightly for decades. It's a very expensive deal. Fans will now need multiple services for most complete MLB coverage. MLB.TV experience likely remains similar, but is now under ESPN control. Sunday Night Baseball moves from ESPN to NBC. Huge strategically. I mean, now Sunday Night Baseball is on broadcast, though. If it's on NBC, it's on broadcast, which is good. It's a bigger audience. Playoffs are now diversified. ESPN's got all the rights to radio. NBC's got the first round. Other rounds will still be with Turner and Fox. They're unaffected. The most important change is ESPN gains in-market TV rights to 6 teams, including the Padres. But then again, it's like, I don't know what they're going to do. And it doesn't sound like there's any answers on there. And so a lot of the ideas are, the Padres could be part of the new app that ESPN has. They could bundle Padre games inside the app. They can sell a team specific. They can integrate it into the new MLB.TV. It sounds like ESPN has not finalized that model yet, but the Padres are going to be accessible probably on ESPN's platform.
I just find it hard to believe that you're going to have to pay to watch the Padres, because we've heard Manfred talk about getting rid of local blackouts. That's a thing that he has talked about. And like I said, I can watch any NHL game without having to spend any extra money, except for the local blackout games, which the NHL does have. But if Manfred wants to get rid of the local blackouts, I can't see why you would have to pay extra money to watch one sport while I can watch the other sport, both broadcasts, not just an ESPN broadcast. I can watch either, like we have the Rangers Vegas Golden Knights game on right now. If I wanted to watch this on ESPN Plus, I could watch it on MSG, or I can watch it on Scripps Sports, which is Vegas's, for free. So I don't know why you would do one sport you'd have to pay and another sport you don't. I understand why you would have to pay for like UFC events and other pay-per-view events. I get that. But that would really, I think, irk the baseball fan to be like, hey, I can watch NHL, I can watch college football, I can watch all this other stuff without having to pay an extra package price, but for baseball I have to.
I don't think that's the case. I agree with you, Frank. I mean, is there anything? There's nothing on if you pay for the app on ESPN or if you pay for ESPN Plus, there's no additional fees except for fights.
Yeah, for pay-per-view events, for boxing matches,
Right.
for UFC, nothing.
I get Red Zone through DirecTV Sports Package, so I don't know how the Red Zone thing works on ESPN because they control the rights of that now too, don't they?
Yes, I'm assuming you would have to pay. We don't have cable, so I can't watch live ESPN on the ESPN app because I don't have cable. I don't have a cable login.
And you don't pay for the direct to consumer.
No,
I have to read every broadcast that I do.
I pay through the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN bundle. That's how I have it.
As J-Dub said in the chat, as Jake Waters says, ESPN Plus allows you to listen to me on USD calls. That's fact.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It absolutely does.
I think those are all the same kind of deal. So you're just going to have to wait. But all you do know, this is all we know about the new TV deal, is Padres are one of 6 teams that now have their broadcast rights owned by ESPN instead of MLB whatever. So it'll look a little different. They'll probably have the little ESPN mic flags. They'll have an ESPN box. They'll have all the ESPN stuff. I don't know if that affects the broadcast. I mean, all the broadcasters work for the Padres. Those are Padres get to pick that. So that's not going to change.
Yeah. So Orsillo will still be with the organization.
Everything will be the same. It's just like where you get it might be slightly different. But it sounds like if you're an out-of-market fan, it's going to be super easy. It's just it's ESPN now instead of MLB.TV.
Mm-hmm.
But the in-market, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. It sounds like they're still working out the details about that. The good news is the Padres have a TV contract of some kind, it seems like. I don't know how much money they get out of the deal. They obviously got to split it, but Major League Baseball signs a big TV rights contracts with a bunch of different entities. And hopefully that's a lot more money coming to the Padres' pockets, but I don't know the details on that either. And again, once the Padres announce it, it'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah, and if you'll notice on DirecTV, which we have here in studio, they've added a bunch of ESPN Plus channels just to straight DirecTV. There's like 10 new ESPN Plus channels on here.
I saw that.
I think they added that. They might have added that on Monday because I don't remember it before that.
I saw that at a bar the other day, and I thought it was just the bar.
No,
I thought the bar, because like when you go to a bar, they have DirecTV's commercial deal, and they have Peacock, and they have Amazon and Peacock, and they have all of those channels built in through DirecTV.
Yes.
So all the bars can access all of these like all the streaming things, so they don't have to like buy a Fire Stick and try to flip TVs.
I mean,
and so I thought they had access at DirecTV. I thought they had one of their corporate ones or their the ones that are restaurants. I thought they just had access to all the ESPN Plus ones, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Unless we have a similar deal like that,
we don't
know.
have that deal.
Yeah,
that's
so like I said, I don't have cable, I don't have Spectrum, I don't have DirecTV, I don't have any of that. We only pay for internet. So that might be a hint because I just saw there's 7 new ESPN Plus channels on DirecTV. So maybe during the off season they'll play whatever, but maybe during the baseball season that's where they'll be playing the games.
I think that's highly possible. I mean, I don't know why you would like limit your market.
Juan Ruiz is saying that Cox also has ESPN Plus on their cable now too.
So they must have worked out a deal with
the cable companies,
which is interesting, as they're still trying to work out a deal with YouTube.
I think that's done.
Did they finish that finally?
I believe that is done after YouTube paid a $20 reimbursement. They got it done.
Interesting. Well, the Padres are part of those in market, or those out of those controlled by ESPN. There's not a lot of details more on how that's going to work, but
because baseball had those television rights, so it's whoever wasn't under television contract is now controlled by ESPN.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. 4 ways the Padres could build a rotation. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. We don't have too much time right here, so we're going to push this to noon so we could get to the sports thread. So we'll do like a super sports thread here and be talking about the latest news and rumors for free agency, and then we'll dive into AJ Cassaville's article and get our takes on it on the 4 ways the Padres could build a rotation. He's got a lot of options out there, and all of them come with risk. That's the thing. All of them come with risk. I mean, every name that we've listed so far that could potentially help the Padres out have had to come with risk. Let's get to the latest news and notes around Major League Baseball, the latest free agency rumors going on. As we'll start with, Frank, multiple teams view Robert Suarez the best pitcher on the market.
Yes, they do. Hold on one second. I was setting up for something else.
Ranger Suarez.
Yeah. Oh, is it Ranger? Oh, whoops, my bad.
That's a massive difference between Ranger and Robert Suarez.
That is a huge difference. So that's a thing. Where the heck is it? Where is it? There, found it. Yep, there we go. With no true ace on the free agent market, several teams view Ranger Suarez as the top available pitcher. He doesn't overpower hitters, but he excels at limiting hard contact, posting MLB's lowest hard hit rate in 2025. Suarez has been consistently reliable with a 3.59 ERA since 2022 and owns a strong postseason track record. He's ranked as one of the top pitchers in this year's free agency class.
It's him, it's Dylan Cease, and it's Framber Valdez.
Yeah.
That's who the top 3 are. And the teams that have the money to spend are going to go get those top 3 arms because everybody needs starting pitching. If I had to guess, I would say, Framber Valdez has been the most consistent guy. But my guess would be Cease gets the most money, followed by Ranger Suarez, then Framber Valdez. And I think all 3 of those guys are going to massive market teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
For huge contracts.
Tatsuya Imai has officially posted. The top MVP pitcher, Tatsuya Imai, has been posted by the Cebu Lions and can now negotiate with MLB teams during the 45-day window that runs through January 2nd of 2026. The 27-year-old right-hander is expected to draw strong interest after posting a stellar 1.92 ERA with 178 strikeouts and only 6 homers allowed in 163 and 2/3 innings. Ranked the number 11 free agent overall, in my standout 2025 season included 8 innings of a combined no-hitter and 17 strikeout complete game shutout.
Do we think he's going to go anywhere but the Dodgers? I mean, I just feel like he's just always going to be a Dodger.
Sasaki 2.0.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of the same. It's been want to play on the West Coast, and
well, to be fair, we haven't heard too much of, or at least I haven't seen too much of what Imai's wants and needs are.
That's also true. That's an interesting name to pay attention to. We know how big he has been, or should I say AJ Preller's been in the Japanese market.
And there's 2 big hitters as well that we'll discuss a little bit later on. Devin Williams drawing widespread interest. Despite a rough 2025 season with the Yankees, Devin Williams is drawing strong free agent interest from around a dozen teams, including the Red Sox, Reds, Mets, Giants, Tigers, and Dodgers.
Oh, my.
His surface numbers were shaky with a 4.79 ERA, but his advanced metrics and a dominant finish, a 2.50 ERA, and 17 strikeouts over his last 19 outings suggests he's still an elite reliever. Many clubs believe he can return to the form that made him one of MLB's best bullpen arms from 2020 through 2024 until Pete Alonso completely broke him.
Do we think he could be a closer again in Major League Baseball? Yes. Do we think he's going to get paid closer money? I don't think so, but I bet you he's going to get a nice payday again for another big market team that's got the money to spend.
Absolutely.
Who needs bullpen arms that are expensive? Good teams that have a lot of money to spend.
Yep.
The Pirates ain't signing Devin Williams.
No, they're not. After a steep decline in production that led to his non-tender in 2022, Cody Bellinger could be headed back to the Dodgers. Los Angeles has shown interest in bringing back the former Rookie of the Year, MVP, and World Series champion as they look to upgrade their outfield. So a Cody Bellinger reunion possible in Los Angeles.
I can see that happening. I feel like, I don't know. He just fits in as a Dodger so bad. I mean, I just feel like he needs to be a Dodger.
In the worst ways.
I know, in the worst ways. I think it'd be a good pickup for LA.
Fresh off a near World Series win, the Blue Jays are aiming big in free agency. They're viewed as the favorites to sign star outfielder Kyle Tucker, and if that fails, could pursue Cody Bellinger or Kyle Schwarber. Toronto is also open to bringing back shortstop Bo Bichette and might even try to sign both Tucker and Bichette. The Rays are exploring top-tier starting pitching as well, with the recent success of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. locking him up long-term. They're seen as a rising destination for elite talent.
Have they been able to sign anybody in free agency?
They have not, but again,
they haven't.
Like this is said, though, when you get a deal like that for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. done, because that wasn't done until earlier this year, that could be the first big domino to fall. It's like, yeah, they're willing to spend this money.
I don't think it's a willing to spend. I think it's a willing to get people to go play in Canada. I think the easiest way for them is to sign guys that they already have. I think they're able to sign Bichette. I don't think Kyle Tucker's going to go play for Toronto. And I don't think, who else did you name in there?
Schwarber.
He ain't playing in Toronto
Bellinger.
either. I don't think any of those guys are going to play in Toronto. I don't think any of them want to sign and play in Canada. I don't think any of them do. I think the Blue Jays are going to have to draft, develop, and then sign those guys to extensions more than getting in big free agents. I mean, how many times do they finish second in big free agency?
Yeah.
Many times. It's not because they're not trying and they're not offering money. I just don't think players want to go through customs every time they go on a road trip. It sucks. It's a tough animal to have to play in a different country.
We know Dave Roberts loves it.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way they have to offer a lot more to get some of these players. And I don't think it's enough to get some of these players to go play in Canada. That's it for baseball. There's a lot of stuff going on in the professional sports world. It doesn't involve baseball. It's today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got today?
Just continuing on.
Number 1.
Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr said he is very concerned that the NBA's increased pace of play combined with its condensed 82-game schedule is leading to increased soft tissue injuries. In the past 2 days, Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo suffered a groin strain, and San Antonio Spurs announced that center Victor Wembanyama had left the game with a calf strain, and guard Stephon Castle with a hip flexor strain. 5 other NBA players are currently out with calf strains: Anthony Davis, Ty Jerome, Dylan Harper, John Morant, and Jrue Holiday. Is this a sign that it's an NBA schedule problem, or is it a players being pampered problem?
I think, well, here's the thing there's a difference between being in shape and being in
basketball shape.
Being in shape, being in football shape. There's a lot of those instances. There's a reason why a lot of these leagues used to make these guys do a lot of stuff and get into shape so they can make it through the entire season. And right now, we're not doing that anymore. They're not doing it as much anymore. Nope. You get all these injuries in football, you know, all these injuries in basketball, all these injuries in baseball, and it's because you're letting the athletes just kind of cruise at their own leisure and getting into shape that would be for like looking good, but not into sports shape. Missing all this time for the preseason, all that stuff. I mean, those are put in place to get you ready to go for the regular season, not sit out the entire time. So it's an NBA problem in that sense, not necessarily the schedule.
And rest schedule as well. That's great. Love the dying NBA.
Number 2.
Continuing with the NBA, in the second installment of a podcast featuring LA Lakers star LeBron James and Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry, the future Hall of Famers made it clear that neither plans to compete in the men's national team at the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. James will be 43 during the 2028 Olympics. Curry will have just turned 40. He didn't slam the door shut quite like LeBron did, but Curry told the inquiring Steve Nash, serving as the Mind Games co-host, that his participation is unlikely. I didn't realize that Steph Curry was going to be 40 coming up in 2028. LeBron doesn't surprise me, but Steph Curry kind of did. And then I saw his age. I'm like, well, maybe that's not as surprising as I thought. But two big names already saying no.
I don't think it's surprising. I really don't, because when he played in the last Summer Olympics, they were saying it was going to be the last time he plays with Team USA.
Yeah.
Again, because of the age thing.
Yeah, like I said, LeBron did not surprise me at all.
I'm not surprised by Steph either. I mean, he's accomplished everything he needs to accomplish. There's not much more that he needs to do. And at that point, like, how many more seasons in the NBA is he going to play?
Yeah.
So why would he play in the Olympics at that point? I mean, when you get to that age, let the younger guys go play in the Olympics. And if you want to continue your NBA career, you probably shouldn't be playing in the Olympics.
Shouldn't be doing extracurriculars.
Number 3.
Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers will not need surgery to repair a fracture to his left non-throwing wrist. Tomlin did not rule out the quarterback out for Sunday's game at the Chicago Bears, and the veteran's status will be determined later in the week. Coach said Rodgers, 41, will not participate today, and that Friday will be a key day in evaluating the quarterback's status for Sunday's game against the Bears. Is there a little bit more of a push to get him to play, seeing now how Baltimore is starting its resurgence?
Yeah, because they need him to play at this point in time. Baltimore's right on their tail, like we thought. There's no, like, they don't have rest time now for Aaron Rodgers. He needs to go out there. He needs to be able to play, or they got to be able to ride with what they have as a backup. I don't even know who the backup is in Pittsburgh.
Last I remember, it was Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. Go ahead. But yeah, it's time to play now if you're Aaron Rodgers, especially with the pressure of Baltimore, who's favored in all their games on the rest of the season. Like we talked about for the last couple of weeks. Baltimore's putting the pressure on.
Mm-hmm.
Got to play.
Number 4.
The WNBA latest collective bargaining proposal would include revenue sharing with a team maximum salary of $1.1 million, available to more than one player per team, growing each year. WNBA officials updated the board on the latest proposal at this week's meetings. The new league minimum would be more than $220,000, with an average of more than $460,000, according to a source. Those numbers would start in the first year of the deal for more than 180 players and increase over the length of the CBA. So the WNBA max salary going up to $1.1 million.
Well, they got more money.
Good on them.
See, with that, you get paid what somebody's willing to pay you for the job. Like, if they're not making money as a league, then that's how much money they're going to get paid. If they are making a lot of money and they're holding out, then yeah, we have another problem. But the WNBA players get more money. New lunchtime hour when we come back.
More popular than baseball.
Relax from the gas lamp to North County. No one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Well, what's up, San Diego? As we get to the noon lunchtime hour on a Wednesday, I want to mention you can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays, the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for the rest for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right. We talked about this a little bit earlier on when it comes to the Padres and their pitching staff and how you put together a rotation. AJ Cassavell wrote a nice piece about the 4 ways the Padres could build a rotation. And this is what he had to say as we weigh in on some of these things. Padres are facing a major offseason challenge. They're rebuilding their starting rotation after expecting both Dylan Cease and Michael King to decline their qualifying offers, which they did. Their departures would leave a significant void, though San Diego would receive draft pick compensation if they sign elsewhere. Despite the looming setback, the Padres have experienced navigating pitching shortages. Nearly every offseason for the past 5 years has involved scrambling for starters, yet they've consistently built strong rotations through creativity, targeting undervalued arms, and maximizing development under pitching coach Ruben Niebla. The article by AJ Cassavell outlines the 4 main avenues the Padres must pursue to replenish the rotation. Number 1 on the list is lean on a healthy Joe Musgrove. I think if the Padres are going to be successful in 2025, Joe Musgrove is going to have a big year. He's going to have to help carry this rotation. And that's a big reason why AJ Cassavell talked about it in his article. When you look at this rotation, Frank, as assembled, you have to get a great year out of Joe Musgrove if you're going to make the playoffs.
He's your clear number 1. I mean, and Nick Pivetta is your number 2, is your clear number 2, but it's after that is where the questions arise. And if you have only 2 starters, as the Padres do at the moment, you really need 1 and 2 to be as good as they possibly can if you want to have success, and that's where the Padres sit right now.
The good news with Joe Musgrove is he's ahead of schedule, or has been ahead of schedule in his rehab. That's good news. He was trying to get to a position where he could pitch later in the playoffs, maybe just for an inning, which we all thought was going to be, at least us on the show, thought it was going to be not necessarily the best idea. But with a Joe Musgrove healthy, and it's going to take him a little bit of time in spring training and however many weeks it takes, they need him to not only be healthy the entire year and post every single start, but they're going to have to rely heavily on Joe Musgrove. I think that's regardless of what they could potentially bring in and what they could potentially sign, trade for, whatever it may be. Joe Musgrove has to have a really good year. AJ Cassavell mentions that, Joe Musgrove is expected to return after undergoing Tommy John surgery in 2024. Padres will bring him back along slowly in spring training, but if he returns to his pre-injury form, which is a 3.20 ERA, 146 strikeouts, and 140 innings per year across 4 seasons, he could help offset the loss of Dylan Cease and Michael King. However, this is far from guaranteed, as Musgrove turns 33 and is coming off of a major surgery. That is also true. It's not a guarantee. And like we've mentioned before with the starting staff, every one of the players that is going to pitch for the Padres next season, at least in the starting rotation, is coming with some type of concern. For Joe Musgrove, he's 33 and he's coming off of a major injury. Can he get back to form that he was before he got hurt? That's a big question. But I agree with AJ Cassavell. You need Joe Musgrove to be exceptional. You need him to have a great year if you want the Padres to be able to survive 2025. Number 2 on the list. Find their next under the radar breakout star. This is kind of a given. We were talking about this earlier on the show. They have to go find a Brad Keller. They have to go find a bargain basement pitcher on the open market that's only going to cost you $7 to $8 million a year. Or a situation like Nick Pivetta where you sign him late and you give him options or potentially opt-outs, and you're taking a massive risk. Padres have done that so far. They have excelled at finding undervalued pitchers and turning them into high-level arms. Nick Pivetta was the arm from last year. Seth Lugo was an arm from a couple of years ago. Michael Wacha is one of those arms for the San Diego Padres. These are all players that the Padres had to take a massive risk on. And it's paid off so far. There's no guarantee that's going to pay off the next time. Those are the type of pitchers they're going to have to find to add to the rotation. Pivetta was a massive success story last year after signing with the Padres. He had a 2.87 ERA, 181 and 2/3 innings pitched, 190 strikeouts, a .99 whip, and he finished 6th in the NL in Cy Young voting. That's not bad for a guy that you signed as you started spring training in February. The top free agents in Major League Baseball for pitchers are going to be way too expensive. The Padres will have to shop in the mid-tier market for someone with untapped upside, and you're going to have to really rely on Ruben Niebla's development track record. And hopefully Craig Stammen can add to that mix as the new manager of the San Diego Padres. But you're going to have to take a massive risk and a massive chance on an under-the-radar player and hope that that player breaks out. So far, you're 3 for 3 on those. Maybe even 4 for 4 if you want to count Michael King. Number 3, according to AJ Cassaville and his 4 ways to build this rotation out, avoid weakening an elite bullpen. That's a way that the Padres are going to have to survive for sure. Here's what AJ Cassaville wrote about. 2 of the Padres' most electric arms, Mason Miller and Adrian Morejon, have the raw stuff to be starting pitchers, but both were dominant relievers last season, and moving either to the rotation would weaken one of Major League Baseball's best bullpens and provide no guarantee of success as starters, especially when you add in the fact that you're losing Robert Suarez, who is now a free agent. With other internal possibilities existing, David Morgan, Kyle Hart, each comes with development or performance concerns. AJ Preller emphasizes avoiding a situation where both the bullpen and the rotation end up mediocre due to risky role changes. I think there's some of that involved. I disagree with AJ Cassaville. I think you have to take the risk if you're the San Diego Padres with maybe one of those arms or somebody else. I just think that's the situation you've put yourself into. Look, I like everything the Padres have done in terms of spending money. I like what they've done in terms of getting big names here in San Diego, but there's consequences for those moves, and the consequences are not having the money to potentially go get a frontline starter. And so when you're in the situation of having to try to save money and build your bullpen out, sometimes you have to try to create value in other spots. And to me, as much as I think, yes, you don't want to make the bullpen mediocre, I think it's easier to reshape the bullpen than it is to reshape a starting rotation. It's a lot cheaper. I can tell you that. It's a lot cheaper to go get bullpen arms than it is to get starting pitchers. And so moving one of those guys potentially to the starting rotation, that is something that could be in play. This is where I disagree with AJ Cassaville a little bit. I think you might have to take that risk with some of these guys. I agree with AJ Preller. You don't want to make both things mediocre when one is currently elite, but I don't think you would make the bullpen mediocre if you decide to use some of those arms or use one of them. I think you got to use one of them, not both. That's going to make things catastrophically bad, but use one. They can do it. And at least ask and see what the process is like. And then if it doesn't work out, you move them back to the bullpen. Unfortunately, those are the risks you have to take in order to be good. That's what you put yourself into. There's no solution to the Padres upgrades that involves being 100% safe. You're not going to be able to win that way. They've spent too much money on other assets. They're going to have to take some risks. Do you want to take that risk? Maybe not. Maybe there's a risk in a guy in the middle of the free agent market that you'd have to take a risk on that might blow up in your face. I mean, these are all entities that have risk. And if your starting staff is not good, and then you have to use your bullpen a lot, well, guess what? Your bullpen becomes no longer elite. It becomes mediocre. And then you didn't even make any of the changes. I think it's worth the risk to move one of those guys to a starting rotation, or at least see what they have. And if it doesn't work out, move them back to the bullpen. Number 4 for AJ Cassaville, patch the back end of the rotation via every possible avenue. San Diego needs to explore trades, fringe free agent signings, non-roster invites, prospects. We talked about that. They have to fight it. They have to try to find a way to assemble like eight to 9 guys in spring training that are battling for the final 2 spots in the rotation and hope it works out. The back end is going to be thin, especially after last year's deadline moves. Promising young arm Randy Vasquez looks like a potential stabilizer. He is showing progress in strike throwing and strikeouts, but other internal candidates such as J.P. Sears and Matt Waldron have struggled. Stephen Kolek and Ryan Bergert were traded. Bergert's out with Tommy John anyway, so it's not even like you can say hindsight's, you can't even say that like he would be helping you next year anyway. But they're going to need some breakthrough from some top prospects they have, or they got to pull out some lower level trades. Overall, Padres need a healthy Musgrove, an undervalued breakout star, smart choices about who goes from the bullpen to the starting rotation, and creative depth additions. And that's how you build out your rotation, as laid out by AJ Cassaville. And I agree with him on a lot of that stuff. They're going to have to get super creative to build out this starting staff and this bullpen. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to a potential lockout in Major League Baseball. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, but we'll keep you updated on what's going on with the high school football playoffs. We'll take a quick segment on that as we return on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97 to the fans, brought to you by Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today. It's the season to save at Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today. As mentioned before, Black Friday sales event is on with brand new Toyotas in stock and ready to roll. Hurry to Toyota of Poway or ToyotaPoway.com and drive home happy this holiday.
Is that where you doubled up again?
Yeah, they have it twice on there.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Which is not a Frank problem. That is just how it comes in the copy. I do want to remind everybody to remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all of the fan staff. Register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. We will be announcing that at 1 o'clock. All right. I want to dive into this. We got to some of the high school football stuff yesterday. Here's the rest of it as we have a little bit of a shorter segment here, getting ready for, again, we're going to need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about that when we come back. We also are going to dive into some options for the San Diego Padres in terms of filling a lot of needs. And there are a decent amount of options out there and some familiar faces. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. But here's what you need to know about the high school football playoffs. We have semifinal games coming up on Friday. Division 1 through Division 5 are going to be playing in semifinal games on Friday. Here's what happened last week. We talked about the Open Division 1 and 2 yesterday, and the Open Division Championship game will be on the 25th, which is Tuesday. So a week from yesterday will be the CIF Open Division Championship. It will be the Cathedral Catholic Dons and the Carlsbad Lancers in a good game down at Southwestern College. Frank will be there. I will be there. Hopefully a lot of you guys that are friends of the show, fans of the show, will come out and support local high school football next Tuesday night. We are looking forward to it. Now, other entities in high school football, briefly recap. In Division 1, it will be Lincoln and San Marcos coming up on Friday, and it will be Mount Miguel and Granite Hills in a rematch. Those are the final four in Division 1. In Division 2, Santa Fe Christian will play the 12 seed Scripps Ranch, who has been on a little bit of a Cinderella story. They will be competing for Division 2 championship, for an opportunity to play in the Division 2 championship game. The winner of that game, either Santa Fe Christian or Scripps Ranch, will play the winner of San Diego High and Steel Canyon, who are playing to make them punch their ticket to a Division 2 championship game. In Division 3, last week, Central came out and beat Bishops 35-17. Luis Jimenez threw touchdown passes of 63, 44, and 43 yards. Defense piled up 10 tackles for loss and 3 interceptions, 2 by CJ Acosta and 1 by Joshua Garcia. Bishop scored on runs from Cash Herrera and Sanson Santiago, but it wasn't enough for Bishops as they lose to Central 35-17. Central is in the semifinals. They will be playing University City, who beat Madison 48-42 in a thriller of a rematch game. Deshaun Hill put on a show, 6 touchdowns and nearly 300 total yards. UC beat Madison 48-42. Christian over Ramona in overtime up on the mountain. Christian won 31-28. They are now in the Division 3 semifinals. Steven Benson hit a 38-yard game-winning field goal in overtime for the Christian Patriots. Caleb Runkle threw for over 306 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 to Ronnie Scott and 2 to Soren Lacey. Christian wins it 31-28. Army-Navy Academy beat Patrick Henry 28-19. Judah Bogard threw 1 touchdown and ran for another for Patrick Henry. Calvin Glenn did everything, 100 receiving yards, a rushing score, and a long kick return, but it wasn't enough as Army-Navy beat Patrick Henry 28-19. Army-Navy will play Christian in the semifinals of the D3 playoffs. So it'll be Christian versus Army-Navy, Central Union, and University City. In Division 4, Westview beats Hilltop 45-28. Matt Guimon threw 5 touchdowns, 2 to Miles Miranda, and 1 each to Kyler Brown, Josh Haney, and Brogan Ford. Shout out Matt Guimon, who's one of the quarterbacks on my JV team from a couple of years ago. Great. Love to see him thriving for Westview. It's a big reason why Westview is in the position that they're in, one win away from making it to a CIF championship game. Eastlake beats Mount Carmel 45-29. Massive night for David Bronco. 4 rushing touchdowns and a 48-yard pick six. Mount Carmel's quarterback, Trevor Tomapau, in his final game threw for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. Valley Center beat Mira Mesa 56-29. Braylon Mitchell accounted for 5 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 4 passing. Jesse Morales got 2 scored, and Gage Enright had another touchdown and an interception. Valley Center moves on to the semifinals. La Jolla Country Day outlasted El Cap 22-7. Jet Abston threw touchdowns of 34, 48, and 55 yards. 2 to Hesh Hertz and 1 to Quentin Cesare. La Jolla Country Day wins 22-7 over El Cap. La Jolla Country Day and Valley Center will be playing for a chance to go to a CIF championship game and play the winner of Westview and Eastlake. In Division 5, Hoover beat Sweetwater 52-49. Hez Manuel was unbelievable. 345 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 130 yards rushing, and 2 more scores. Ronnie Grant had 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Noah Contreras had 110 yards and a touchdown plus a 52-yard scoop and score. Abdallah added 2 touchdown grabs. Hoover over Sweetwater 52-49. They're in the Division 5 semifinals. Monta Vista over Fallbrook 21-10. Deion Hunter and Derek Taylor both scored for Monta Vista plus a 45-yard pick six by Travarius Florence, and the Monarchs are going to the semifinals. Canyon Hills beats Chula Vista 23-12. Mackay Fields Cooks rushed for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Rattlers. They beat Chula Vista 23-12. They are in the Division 5 semifinals. Morse blank Santana 38-0. Superior Guerra scored 5 touchdowns for the Morse Tigers. They'll take on Canyon Hills in the Division 5 semifinal for a chance to make it to the CIF championship game. Division 5A, Maranatha Christian beat Claremont 49-6. Shane Peaster went 11 for 12 for 148. Dane Johnson scored twice. Aaron Tesson had a touchdown and 8 tackles. On the other side, Palo Verde Valley beat up on Mountain Empire 46-8 out in Blythe. Palo Verde Valley will play Maranatha Christian in the CIF championship game in Division 5A semifinals. Big rushing nights for Christian Richards and Aiden Walker, combining for over 200 yards for Palo Verde Valley. 8-man football, St. Joseph Academy beat Francis Parker, and Borrego Springs beat Julian. It will be Borrego Springs and St. Joseph Academy in the CIF championship game for 8-man football. That is the update for you. CIF championship games will be happening next week. CIF semifinals will be happening on Friday. Should be a fun time, Francis. People are wondering if you're still alive.
I agree, yes.
I agree. I agree to what you said on the report for high school football.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, no, it's been a long morning already for me. Sorry.
It's all right. Anyway.
I'm awake, though.
Are you awake?
Yeah.
You alive and well?
Yeah.
Are you alive and well enough to tell us who you think the Padres should sign for free agency?
It's called texting potential guests. And yes, I am.
Is that what it is? Yes. Is that what it is? Yes. Well, Padres options for position players. Frank has put a list together. We are going to break down that list when we come back. We also need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff.
We have one of those already.
288-0973, 833-288-0973. Go Aztec says, Frank's going to Taco Bell for the Carlsbad Cathedral game. If they got nuggets back, you better believe he's coming there.
They have strips there, I think, now.
Oh,
which,
you
how
have to
could
try
they
those.
be? Yeah, how could they be much different?
How can they be much different? You're right. I'm going to go get coffee during the break. We got some names on here and some familiar faces that the Padres could pursue in free agency this offseason. Who are those names? We'll talk about it when we come back. We will also get you a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. And in the 1 o'clock hour, you're starting to see the rumblings of a potential lockout between the players and the owners. We will give you everything you need to know about what happened at the GM meetings last week and what effect it has on Major League Baseball. More to come. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Room Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. We're getting ready to play the Midday Sports Standoff in just a little bit. Do want to mention this holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 to the fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feed local families. Go to 97 to the fan, sd.com/food fund, and give today. All right, we've gotten the news about ESPN and Major League Baseball on this new agreement on things. ESPN PR just put out a press release about it. And it has a bunch of different things that are in there that we might be able to take a look at in just a second from their press room. Now, Jeff Passan also tweeted this out. This is 2 minutes ago. Incredibly excited that Major League Baseball will remain on ESPN in 2026 and beyond. You'll be able to purchase MLB.TV through the ESPN app, and all Padres, Mariners, Diamondbacks, Guardians, Twins, and Rockies games will be streamed in-market exclusively on the app as well.
Without having to pay for MLB.TV?
I think it's probably like if you pay for the app, I think you get those games in market.
For free.
Right.
You get them for free in market, which is great.
It says exclusively, though. Does that mean it's exclusively only going to be on the app? Based on what ESPN has been trying to push to get people to watch their app, I feel like that would be the case, but I don't know. And we won't know until the Padres release something on this particular deal. But ESPN PR has put this together about what they're doing. So as we try to break this thing down, we will keep you updated on it as it goes about. But we do want to get to what some potential Padres options are for position players and whether or not it makes sense. And we're going to bring in Frank to help us with that. So what do we got in terms of what did Jeff Passan say that might be available for the Padres, or at least in general, at least players that fit roles for San Diego that might be available in the open market?
Yeah, it's not necessarily players that are Padre available. It's just players that could fit around the team. If you want a power hitter, could look at possibly Eugenio Suarez. Want a home run hitter who doesn't cost nine figures? Well, then Eugenio Suarez is your guy. Suarez hit 49 home runs last year at 34 years old. Reaches free agency. Hopefully, that teams will seize his power potential and look past his on-base percentage. He's likely to wind up on short-term, high-dollar deals for a team that needs a third baseman, possibly DH.
How much money is Eugenio Suarez expected to make? Do we know?
I do not know.
Let's take a look real quick. I feel like he might be on the more expensive side, but he's 34 years old, right?
Yes.
So Eugenio Suarez is expected to make.
He would be your big splash option.
I saw a thing like on Spot Track that they have the Padres spending a total of $230 million. So if you use that kind of information as a general guide, you have $30 million to work with.
Juan Ruiz is suggesting 3 years, 70.
Yes, Fangraphs has him at 3 years, 60. But anyway, let's think about this from a perspective of if Spot Track is guessing correctly, and the Padres have said that they are going to be around where they were last year in like top 10 in baseball in payroll, and that puts you about $230 million, like Spot Track says. Again, give or take 5 or 10 million, I would say. If you only have $30 million to work with, can you afford to give 20 of it to Eugenio Suarez? Frank? No. The answer is no.
No, he has played some first base in his career. So maybe you could try to make him a full-time first baseman. If that is the plan, if that is what you want to do, if he's okay with doing that, he's made 3 starts at first base.
What do I
and
say?
in one of those 3 starts, he made an error. So maybe that's not the plan you're going with. But that would definitely be your big splash power hitter, get him to be a DH guy.
I mean, a good year last year for both Arizona and Seattle. I mean, you just don't want Cincinnati Reds, Eugenio Suarez, right?
Right.
I mean, he has had struggles in his career as well. He's up there in age. You're going to have to pay him until he's 37. And you're going to pay him $20 million a year for an organization that's already got to do big contracts with other players. To me, it doesn't fit. I don't like that move particularly because, again, assuming your budget's $30 million, that's a big assumption because we don't know the books. But based on everything that is being said about the Padres and where they're at, I think $30 million gives you a general ballpark range. Are you willing to spend 20 of it on Eugenio Suarez, and then you have $10 million left to fill out the roster?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. So probably not going to work.
A reunion with Ha-Seong Kim. We talked about a possible reunion with Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers. Why not Ha-Seong Kim and the Padres? When Kim opted out of his $16 million payday with Atlanta, he did so abundantly aware of how few big league caliber infielders are on the free agent market. He could choose a multi-year deal or a hefty one-year payday that would put him in position to hit free agency at 31, perhaps coming off of a normal Ha-Seong Kim season. Could he come back as a utility infielder, kind of like what a Jose Iglesias came back for, granted with more money being owed?
We're using these websites as predictions, right?
Yeah, we're throwing out what ifs.
Okay, so we're going to continue. We'll just keep the Padres have a $30 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to keep that money. According to Fangraphs, who've done pretty well, and usually they undervalue players. Players have usually gotten more than what Fangraphs has said. They think Ha-Seong Kim's going to sign a 3-year, $45 million deal. So if you have $30 million to work, you're going to spend half of it on a position you don't need to be a utility guy where he's 30 years old?
This coming from the organization that has 7 shortstops on their 9-man roster, or their 9-man lineup.
You would have to give them like $7 or $8 million a year, and even then, it's like it's not worth it. Why? So you could move Bogarts back to second base, and then what do you do with Cronenworth? Is he your first baseman now? Did you add any slug? No, he didn't add any slug. That's like paying for Luis Ariz. It's a more expensive Luis. At least Ha-Seong Kim can field. At least he has elite defense to go with his hitting. $15 million a year? My budget's $30 million? No. My budget's $45 million? Even then, that's kind of a lot. I mean, think about it from this perspective, right, on the budget. How much money do we think the Padres are going to spend on their roster? Even if they get it to the threshold, like the $244 million threshold that they might be at, it gives them like 40-something million dollars to work with. That still eats up a big chunk of what you have available to spend. They're close to the limit they want to spend. They're already at, according to Fangraphs. Again, I have to say, according to these websites, I trust some of these, but again, at the same time, like, you don't know the books, so you don't really know the answers to all these. You'll find out as free agency goes, but I'm giving you ballpark numbers. If Fangraphs, if we're going off Fangraphs is correct, based on their predictions, the Padres have already spent $200 million on this year's payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Already $200 million on this year's payroll. If they're going to just at least stay under luxury tax, and let's go with Spot Track's prediction that they're going to spend $230 million. If they want to stay under luxury tax, which I imagine they probably do since they were over it last year, that gives them $37 million to work with at the max. And give or take $5 or $10 million. But even if you give or take $5 or $10 million, you can't have Ha-Seong Kim or Eugenio Suarez taking up the majority of that money. This is why you have to get creative on trades, and you have to get creative on players that you're taking a risk on. But there are some players out there that might be a little bit lower in terms of value. So no on Suarez, Eugenio, and no on Kim Ha-Seong.
Right. So more realistic options now. Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn remade himself after leaving Kansas City, turning into the strong side of a platoon, and then managing to finish 2025 with a better OPS against left-handed pitchers than righties. At 32, O'Hearn won't command a huge deal, but between his production and lack of strikeouts, he will have no trouble finding a multi-year contract.
I'd take Ryan O'Hearn.
I would as well.
Absolutely, I would take Ryan O'Hearn. I would take Ryan O'Hearn for a lot of different reasons, but I think he brings the pop value. I think he can play first base. I think him and Gavin Sheets can both play first base. And you know what? It's an affordable way to get a power bat into your lineup. And that's how I see that.
Speaking of a power bat, getting a power bat into the lineup.
Ryan O'Hearn, according to Fangraphs, is expected to make 2 years, $24 million. $12 million on Ryan O'Hearn is still kind of a lot.
It feels like a lot, but it's filling a need. It's filling an immediate need of multiple immediate needs of a power hitter and a first baseman.
And that would give you $23 million left on everything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think that'd be worth it. I think you could probably get him for like just under $12 million.
Speaking of power, how about Osuna from the Braves?
I'm out.
Marcell Osuna thought through his power, Osuna walked at a higher rate than everyone in Major League Baseball last year, except for Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
He's
a lot
beat
of power
up
as well.
He's beat up. He's old. How old is he now? He's got to be 30. He's 35.
Something like that.
He would only. I mean, he cost you the same as O'Hearn. Would you rather have Ozuna or O'Hearn?
No, I do not want Ozuna from the Braves at the same price.
I would have O'Hearn. I'd give Ozuna like $3 million, but I'm not like super in on it. I'm out. I think he brings too much baggage too. I'm out. Hard pass, like Rod said. Hard pass.
If you can't,
Rod would rather have Donald Duck on the team.
There it is.
Than Marcell Ozuna. Isn't that right, Rod?
If you can't get Ryan O'Hearn, maybe Rhys Hoskins fits the bill for you. A 3 true outcome adherent, Hoskins knows how to get on base and hit the ball over the fence.
I don't mind Rhys Hoskins. Was he in Milwaukee last year?
Yes, he was. He was a Brewer last year. Last couple of years, I think.
Yeah. He's 33. He had a 0.9 WAR last year. He's expecting a 0.7 WAR. He's got he's expected to get a 1 year, $8 million deal. I'd take him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd put him.
If you can't,
I'd put him on the top of the list.
If you can't get O'Hearn, get Hoskins.
I would totally take Rhys Hoskins. I would make a play for Rhys Hoskins. I wouldn't take Rhys Hoskins for more than $10 million.
Agreed.
But for what Fangraphs is expected him to make, $8 million, I think you could budget that and use the rest of the money on pitching.
While
I mean, realistically, Frank, like how many position players does this team need right now?
Not many.
One power bat and maybe somebody else.
Yeah, and then we're getting now to the somebody else. The last two guys.
Rhys Hoskins only had 12 home runs last year. He played 90 games. That's some time with an injury.
Get hurt, yeah.
237 average. So it's still like he still was better than an average player though in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. These next two guys, Bryce Johnson. I don't think we could say anything bad about Bryce Johnson. He did great last year.
Bryce Johnson's a free agent?
No.
Oh,
no.
I was going to say, what?
I'm saying, but you can get a better backup outfielder than Bryce Johnson. You can. So here are two backup outfielder options for you. 34-year-old Rob Refsnyder hit 302, 399 with a 560 against lefties in 138 plate appearances last season, posting a .826 career OPS against lefties. So there's one of your options. The other one is a younger player named Lane Thomas. Had an injury-plagued season last year.
I liked Lane Thomas when he was a member of the Nationals.
Yes. Hits free agency at the age of 30 with potential with a potential to cash in next winter. So Refsnyder or Thomas to be your fourth outfielder effectively.
How much is Bryce Johnson getting? Like $750,000?
Yeah, he's not getting much money.
I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing one of these guys in and to compete, but like Rob Refsnyder is expected to get $5 million. I'd have Rob Refsnyder for $5 million. He only hit 9 home runs, but he's a high average guy, high OPS guy, walked a decent amount. Had a 131 OPS plus last year for Boston.
Lane Thomas has a very nice glove and solid speed as well.
Who did he play for last year? Cleveland? Was it Cleveland?
I believe so.
Cincinnati? I felt like he was part of one of those teams. Lane Thomas. I need to find like his.
He was a Guardian last year.
He was a Guardian last year. I'm trying to find him on this like projected deal. He had injury-prone season, so he didn't have a high WAR.
He had 39 games last year. He hit $160, 4 homers, 11 RBIs, stole 4 bases in 5 chances.
Oh,
walked
so his
14
WAR is probably
times.
super low, huh?
It was minus 0.6.
It was 0.6 or negative?
Minus 0.6. Negative 0.6.
Oh, I don't even know if he's going to be on here. Lane Thomas. Yeah, he doesn't have a projection for how much he could potentially
2023.
But how about this? Like Fangraphs has him as he had his negative 0.5 Fangraph WAR. They project him to get a 0.7 projected WAR next year.
I mean, you go back to, you're looking at him as his last full season. His last full good season was 2023. 156 games, 28 homers, 86 RBIs, 20 stolen bags, and 25 attempts. That's a great outfielder, especially if you're getting him for a 4th outfielder position.
We need to get to the midday sports stand-up, but here's one thing too. Is it alarming that Fangraphs thinks Ryan O'Hearn's potential WAR, like future WAR for next year, projected WAR next year, is half of what he had this year? He had a 3 WAR this year. He's projected to get a 1.4 WAR next year.
Sounds like fun to me.
Is that worth $12 million? I don't know. I don't mind the Rhys Hoskins thing. I think that's a decent play. Or a Rob Refsnyder. I mean, those are players that are not going to cost a lot of money, and these are the guys you have to take risks on. And we're going to have to figure out some pitchers like that too. But first, let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's not good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, if Jamie and San Ysidro can take me down in sports trivia, he will have an opportunity to win a chance to go see Sammy Hagar as he returns to Las Vegas with his Best of All Worlds Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy solo hits, and more. Only in Las Vegas this March 11th to the 21st and September 18th to the 26th at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Let's get to it.
That was not sped up at all. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good, gentlemen. I forgot I was on hold. I thought I was just listening to the show.
So today's topic, it's going to be NFL again today. Current starting quarterbacks who have started for multiple teams in their careers. There are 10 of them. So a third of the league, effectively.
This might give away an answer. Like Michael Penix Jr. just got hurt. So is therefore the guy that is now starting count? Does he count?
No, he's not on the list.
All right. So he doesn't count.
Jamie, go ahead. You're first.
So Kirk Cousins does not count.
No, Kirk Cousins is not on the list. Stafford, yes.
It's a good one. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, yes.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, yes.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, yes.
Oh crap! I can't remember the guy's name. Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Geno Smith.
Geno. Jamie. Got 4 left.
Lord. 4 left. Let's go with.
What week did you have these guys as
Kid that went
starters?
What was that, Jamie?
I'm trying to think of the guy who went from one team to the other, but I don't want to say him. I'm sure Braden knows it anyway. Let's say Carson Wentz. Did he play somewhere else?
No, Carson Wentz not the starter
Anymore.
Yeah,
What week did you take these
This
starters?
from opening week.
From opening week. Oh, so Jameis Winston doesn't count.
No, Jameis Winston is
No.
not.
Okay, well, that's kind of lame. Okay. Who else do we have? Oh, well, no, because he wasn't the starter in week 1. A lot of guys that weren't starters in week 1. Who? Oh, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, yes.
How many more do we need?
There's 3 left, and we got like 45 seconds. There's 2 pretty. There's
Good Lord.
they're pretty big ones here.
That's to put the pressure on me. Let's go with.
Oh, I got one.
I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to buzz you there.
Justin Fields. If Tyrod Taylor doesn't
Justin
count.
Fields, yes. Jamie, last gasp.
Toast. I can't think of one. I'm screwed.
There's 1 more left.
There's 2 left.
There's 2 left.
Braden, if you can get
Sam Darnold.
Yep, and that's it. That's the 6.
What was the last one?
The last one would have been Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Was he the Brock
Patriots.
Purdy started week 1?
Mac Jones is on the list.
Mac Jones on the list, but Tyrod Taylor was not on the list, and neither was Jameis Winston or Kirk Cousins.
Shut up, man.
Not Scraby level, but it's getting there.
You won anyway.
Not Scraby level, but it's getting there. 1 o'clock when we come back. This hour of Sports Talks brought to you by SD Collectibles. Get ready, sports and Pokemon collectors. SD Collectibles Card Show is back at Liberty Station with over 100 vendor tables. November 22nd, 23rd. Find sports cards, Pokemon memorabilia, and more. Visit SDCollectibles.com for info. That's SDCollectibles.com. You know what time it is, Frank.
Well, I know it's not nap time. That's for sure. That was a half
we checked
hour
off
ago.
Nap time. It's not nap time. It's not lunchtime. It's not snack time. What do we got?
I think it's biggest fan time.
Biggest fan time.
There we go.
That's exactly right.
I'm learning.
Well done. We also have tickets to give away for the Aztecs.
That'll be tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow?
I told you this already. It's tomorrow.
Why would you put it on there already? Tomorrow
because
at the 1
I was
o'clock
gonna
hour.
Forget
tomorrow at
today,
the 1 o'clock hour, we'll be giving away Aztec tickets.
Because if I forgot today, then that would have meant I most likely would have forgotten tomorrow. So I just put it on there now. I told you when I put it in there that it was for tomorrow.
There's a big game tomorrow for volleyball in town. USD women's volleyball has a big game tomorrow. If they win the West Coast Conference. Hey,
I think I got whiplash from that segue you just did.
I did.
So it's
I'm just trying to just tease it longer and longer. They're on the edge of their seat. All right, congratulations to today's biggest fan, Julie Martinez in San Diego. Julie, give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you will qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan. Julie Martinez in San Diego. You got 10 minutes, Julie.
Brother, just no build up.
10 minutes.
No nothing. Just blurts the name out.
I had to today.
We're 0 for 2 this week, by the way.
What the hell, Sam? No. We're 0 for 1. Sam's 0 for 1. I'm not. No.
Sam's
this
0
is
for the
not.
week.
This is not a situation where, his at bat counts for my batting average. It's not. We're not doing that. That's on Sam. That's not on us. That's on you and Sam. You are 0 for 2. Sam's 0 for 1.
Oh my goodness.
I'm 0 for 1.
I think we might be 0 for this week as a station. Hold on.
Come on, what are we doing? I know it's we're getting close to the holidays. Let's pay attention.
Yeah,
here. Julie Martinez. What's
no,
going
we're
on?
not. No, we're not. Only the morning shows got there too, from Monday and Tuesday. But other than that, we are 0 for.
People are more engaged in the morning. They get their morning coffee. They're ready to go. Julie Martinez in San Diego. Give us a call. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Sam too busy shopping his services. Yeah, his camp's shopping him around. He leaves Arizona State. Is he leaving here? Is he entering the transfer portal?
This just as Adam asked him. Hey,
Oh!
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh,
no,
what?
they're gone.
No! You called in for a second. Give us a call. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Julie Martinez. God,
We had Ann call. Oh, it was her. There we
there
go.
it is.
Yeah,
Hey, well done. How about that? See, again, Sam's 0 for 1. Frank's now 1 for 3, and I'm 1 for 2. Some of us are hitting 500 this week. Some of us are over, and some of us are batting 333, which, you know what, is okay. The 333 is okay. Yeah, get excited, Gonzo. Are you going to be at the CIF Championship game next Tuesday? You should be. You want to see me really fired up? Watch me on the sidelines of a high school football game. It's a different level of excitement.
We have our first.
Frank hasn't
first
seen
qualifier of the week.
Well done. You're hitting 333 now. Sam's over.
The show is hitting 333 this week.
I'm 1 for 2.
That's cool. The show, which your name is on the show,
True,
is 1 for 3.
Rod's coming to the CIF Championship game on Tuesday.
That's cool.
Rod, bring your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Games at Southwestern College, Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
And
We'll
like I
see you
said,
there.
fancy Mexican restaurant right across the street. Look for the big purple bell.
Get yourself some chicken strips. Juan Ruiz, I'll see you there. We got to get a good contingent, and Rod, you got to coordinate. We'll have the Braden Surprenant show section. If I have leftover T-shirts, maybe I can bring some T-shirts to hand out.
Southwestern College, that football field's actually quite nice. The facility.
The facility is super
quite
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is super nice.
They just built a new gym. It's either a gym or a theater. I don't know. I believe it's a gym. Right next to it, there's also the Aqua Center that's there as well, right next to it, which is brand new. So a lot of cool stuff.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me the Taco Bell across the street is a Taco Bell cantina? Is that what Rod said? God, I hope it's a Taco Bell cantina. That would just make it even better.
What?
You've never heard of a Taco Bell cantina?
No.
They have like mixed drinks and stuff there. They have like
I think
they have Baja Blast with.
Oh yeah, I think so. Actually, yeah.
Is it they have a Taco Bell cantina across the street from Southwestern College?
They just I don't know. They just renovated it a couple months ago. So like they just finished the renovation.
What is that on Otay Lakes Road and East Street? Is that where it's at?
No, H. It's right across. Street. It's between Southwestern College and Bonita Vista High School.
Right. Yeah. Oh, is it on this side over here? I'm trying to find the Taco Bell. Oh my God, Taco Bell Live Moss Cafe? Are you kidding me?
There you go. See that?
Wow. Yeah, it's just renovated.
Yeah, it's H and Bonita Road.
Not
Bonita Road. Bonita Road's way.
No, it's Otay Lakes Road. Are you telling me Taco Bell Live Moss Cafe? What is a Live Moss Cafe? That's intriguing. New cafe, same Taco Bell. What? Your new favorite cafe is here. 20 plus new drinks handcrafted by our Live Moss Cafe Bellristas. They got churro chillers. What? Iced and blended coffees. It's like they have like coffee at these places.
Yeah.
Refrescas?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen the signs for those. Yes.
Oh my God. What is a Live Moss Cafe? It's your new favorite cafe. And yes, it's inside a Taco Bell. Live Moss Cafe serves bold, craveable drinks designed to energize your day and fuel your vibe. Crave-worthy coffee, creamy chillers, light and fruity refreshers, bold energy drinks, and seasonal creations, all made to match your mood and moment.
Craig just called. Craig and Bonita just called. He is literally at the Taco Bell right now.
Craig, what do we got at the Taco Bell Cafe?
It's the Live Moss Cantina. It has it has Bellistra favorites. It's got churro chillers. It's got specialty coffees. It's got refrescas. And then it's got the whole menu too with all the other stuff.
Oh my
For
God.
food.
What are the odds that Craig and Bonita is down there right now. By the way, go Navy, beat Army, Craig.
Hey, you remember me.
That's
All
right,
right. No, we got to remember, go Navy, beat Memphis first.
That's right.
We got a lot. This is an exciting month, Braden. We are going to do it. We're going to finally go to the championship.
Yeah, well, I hope that's the case. Frank and I are going to the Army-Navy game again, Craig, so we'll be out there repping Navy.
I got Ben. Ben is coming out and speaking at our luncheon on December 8th at Dave & Buster's, and I thought he was going this year, and he said he's not going. He hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, so Frank and I will be there holding it down for the fan. We look forward to it. And Craig, we'll make sure that we got to get you to call in on our show that day and give us the whole rundown for us.
Okay, will do. Okay, enjoy the Taco Bell. And, yeah, Southwestern College, the field and everything's brand new, AstroTurf. It's really nice.
Good, Craig. I hope to expect to see you there on Tuesday, Craig. Come out and watch some high school football.
I'm gonna be traveling. I'll just be up in Oregon, going up to Oregon for a few days.
All right, it's all right, Craig.
So
We appreciate the phone call. Long time no talk. Big Navy guy. He runs all the Navy alumni stuff, which is great. So anyway, Craig and Benita. I haven't heard Craig's name in a long time. I am thrilled by the Taco Bell stuff. By the way, this is insane.
See, there you go. And
but it's not. But it's not the cantina. It's the Live Moss Cafe. So it's not. It doesn't have alcohol and stuff like that.
So
Rod, the game's at 7, so you could get. I can't wait. Rod's gonna be jacked up on Taco Bell energy drinks and beefy 5-layer burritos, rooting for the Dons.
Also, if you get there early enough, in the same parking lot as the Taco Bell, there is one of those Valvoline oil check stations. So you get your oil changed, take 15 minutes out of your day to get your oil changed. Go to Taco Bell.
Get your body oil changed.
Get your churro spritzer, whatever they have there.
Churro spritzer.
And then go across the street. You can't park at the Taco Bell, by the way. That is, you will get your car towed. You can't park over there. But then you can go to Southwestern College to watch Cathedral Catholic play that team.
I probably shouldn't be wearing purple this week, but, here I am. Derek and La Mesa, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Derek?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hey, brother. I feel like I'm on the Jim Rome show right now because I got a couple of rants right here. So I'm going to start off with the Denver Broncos, okay?
Hang on.
I'm not a Bronco fan.
Hang on. We got to play the Bronco. We got to play the Bronco thing there. Go ahead.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
All right, go off, King. Here we go.
I love it. I am so tired because, as you guys know, sorry, chat, this is your resident Oregon Duck fan. I'm so tired of listening to people talk about how bad Bo Nix is. Yeah, I know he's 48 years old and spent 15 years in college. Here's the deal, people. You don't accidentally trip into 9-2 if you're a horrid quarterback. I'm tired of it. Yes, he doesn't throw for 300 yards every game. And yes, he's 115 years old. He wins. He's 9-2. So stop that narrative. And then I'm going to get on you a little bit, Braden, because Braden, because Scraby never lets me on the show. And I jam him all the time on social media. I've been trying to get through to him. What is with Elo's hatred of Dan Lanning? Has he ever listened to the Dan Lanning story and the fact that his wife survived bone cancer and the fact that the guy was Alabama's #1 choice and they settled for sloppy seconds? A guy, by the way, Caleb DeBoer, that owned him when he was the head coach at Washington. I don't understand what this hatred is about Lanning. This dude is Oregon pure and pure. And you know what? The grass is damn green in Eugene. And with all these college openings and, he's going to go to Tennessee. He's going to go to Florida. He's going to go to LSU. He's not going anywhere. So I don't understand.
Why would he go anywhere?
Hatred.
I don't get it.
Why would he go anywhere? And and I love ESPN College Game Day going back to Eugene for only the second time in the history of ESPN College Game Day, going to Eugene twice in 1 year. And I know we're going to see the signs. 7,558 uniform combinations and 0 national champions. Well, I'll tell you what, all of you people out there that follow college football teams and NFL football teams that have all of these alternate uniforms, you have Phil Knight and Nike and the University of Oregon to thank for all these cool uniforms, because Oregon was the first to do it, and everybody saw a money grab. So everybody does the same thing. So Elo, if you're listening, tell Scraby, answer my call, because I want to know why you hate Lanning so much.
I got to know why too. Derek, I appreciate the phone call. Derek just letting it out.
He's an angry duck.
Angry duck. Quack, quack. Quackers fans are unhinged. I like Dan Lanning. I like the way he runs his defense. I like, he might be, I don't think he gets that annoying. I mean, some people think he's an annoying coach. He's a good coach. He wins. And anybody that thinks why would Dan Lanning ever leave Oregon? Why would you leave Oregon? Why would you leave Oregon to go to the SEC? That makes no sense. To what? To be second fiddle to Georgia? To be second fiddle to Alabama? Why would you leave? You have all of Nike's resources and the Nike machine behind you. And Phil Knight, who's going to spend unlimited amounts of money to try to win that one national championship before he passes away. Why would you leave Oregon? I don't understand. Based on the kids I know that are going to Oregon or have been offered by Oregon in town and what they say about Dan Lanning, they love Dan Lanning. And the other thing, too, is when you start to listen to what Oregon can do to get kids into school, to get kids to go to Oregon, you're like, I don't know why anybody wouldn't go to Oregon. They have way too many. They have more resources than you think. It's been disappointing so far. Like last year against Ohio State was very disappointing. But Oregon's legit. They're good. I don't know why anybody would hate Dan Lanning. What's the point? Like, what do you hate Dan Lanning for? It's an interesting take right there by Elo. I haven't heard Chris Elo's rants about Dan Lanning. I haven't. I like the fact they finally get to go back to the West Coast for college game day. Oregon and USC. You know what? The Pac-12 this year in football would be pretty good if they existed. I think a lot of schools are starting to realize how dumb it is to move to these other conferences. I mean, if you're Oregon, they didn't really have a say in the matter because USC and UCLA screwed everything up for everybody else in the Pac-12. But they're flying cross-country to play mediocre teams that can play in the Pac-12. They're flying to the East Coast to play Rutgers, who's like playing Washington State. So, anyway. Lanning walked on Elo's lawn. Nate, that is a haymaker right there in the YouTube chat. Anyway, like we talked about before, Rod's getting the Braden fans ready to go for the football game on Tuesday. Win or lose, it's going to be a fun game. So, but I will say, if you're there to support the Braden Surprenant show, you got to sit on the cathedral side. I know that pains a lot of people. Juan, I better see Juan in the YouTube chat wearing red and gold on Friday night, on Tuesday night. Makes no sense. Tuesday night. Go meet up with Rod at the Taco Bell Cafe. Get yourself fired up with some whatever they got over there. And get yourself to Southwestern College. Should be a fun time. Frank will be there. I don't know if he's got to go to the Taco Bell Live Moss Cafe first. You might have to now, Frank.
It might be an after.
It might be a meetup.
It might be an after party.
Halftime meetup at the Taco Bell Live Moss Cafe.
This Taco Bell's going to have no idea what hit it.
Yeah, what's going on? Why everybody's wearing these Braden Surprenant show shirts here? What's going on? I should have made some red and gold ones for the game.
That was a grave oversight by you.
I know. It can't be too Donzish. It's too much.
You got to have at least one.
I know. Well, all the kids on my
variant.
team that want shirts, I like the brown and gold doesn't make any sense for them.
Exactly.
It should be the red and gold so they could wear it on Spirit Dress Day.
This is where we need the whatever, like one of the online shops is, where you can, like, you never even touch the stuff. It just prints out. Just you put the design in there and it just send it out.
Gonzo, if you go to the Taco Bell, you got to come across the street to the CIF championship game. 833-288-973,
Gonzo,
833.
I thought we were just doing Taco Bell.
You can do that on your own, Gonzo. Plus, you know what? It's a Tuesday before Thanksgiving. You don't want to cook that night. Go to Taco Bell. Go to Taco Bell and then come to the game.
Fine Mexican cuisine.
Exactly. You didn't do anything else for that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get you updated on what's going on in the labor negotiations. They haven't even started yet, but you're starting to get the sense of what sides want, what sides don't want. Evan Drellich had a great article in The Athletic. We're going to break it down when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Someone Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 125 on a, what's today? Wednesday? Thursday? Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Wednesday all day. This hour of Sports Talk is brought to you by SD Collectibles. Get ready, sports and Pokemon collectors. SD Collectibles Card Show is back at Liberty Station with over 100 vendor tables. November 22nd and 23rd. Find sports cards, Pokemon, memorabilia, and more. Visit sdcollectibles.com for info. That's sdcollectibles.com. I'm going to get back to your phone calls. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Should have a packed show tomorrow. Big volleyball game in town tomorrow as USD Women's Volleyball will be playing for a West Coast Conference Championship against Pepperdine. If they win, they will win the West Coast Conference Championship. We will have their head coach, Jen Petrie, on tomorrow. Look forward to that. We will also have Eddie Brown on tomorrow. Skylar should be back. It's about time. 2 weeks off, man. I mean, really?
2 bad weeks, too. She went 1-9 and I think 4-6 last week. We all had a bad week last week.
When have we ever had a good week? This is the worst I've ever picked, like in games. It's the spreads are getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she'll be back tomorrow. We'll do more of a football show tomorrow, unless there's breaking Padres news, which has happened the last 2 weeks on Thursday. There's one said, the Queen is back. Yes, she is. Want to get back to your phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Ernesto in Chula Vista. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Ernesto?
Hello. I'm kind of interested about free agency and who we're going to get. The name that comes to my mind is Cody Bellinger. He could play the outfield and the first base. We're in need in first base. So what do you think of it?
I mean, I'd love to have Cody Bellinger on the team. Ernesto, I like where your head's at. Obviously, he's young. He's a young player. He got a 4.9 WAR last year. Expect to get a 3.0 WAR this season. Going to be going to get a big contract, probably the biggest contract he's going to get. But the problem is, Ernesto, and again, I appreciate the phone call, is he's going to cost a lot of money. And again, if we're thinking that the Padres budget's around $30 million, he's projected to get a 5-year, $135 million contract, which is $27 million. That gives you $3 million to work with everything else. I mean, he is just a luxury, unfortunately, you can't afford. And we went through that with a lot of different position players. We're going to talk about it from the pitcher standpoint. I think when you look at from a position standpoint, Frank, you're looking at a power hitter and maybe a bench piece is what you're trying to find.
Correct.
I think that's what you need to find. I think everything else needs to be pitching related. And if you can keep everything cheap from those guys, like I think like a Ryan O'Hearn or Reese Hoskins is a very affordable player to sign. And here's the conversation. Okay, here's the conversation we have every single offseason. They can get that power bat or a player like O'Hearn for $12 million, maybe $10 million. You could get a Reese Hoskins for about $8 million. These are the players that you sign during the offseason where when you get to the trade deadline, you don't have to make all these big trades to improve your roster. You already have it ready to go. Maybe you add something a little bit later, but this is the time, I think, to get players like that. And there's been a lot of players like that the Padres decided not to pursue, end up having good years, and then they go with the $1 million deal instead. And I just think this is a better plan of attack. But you know what? The Padres have made the playoffs 4 of the last 6 years, 3 of the last 4. I just feel like they should probably not have to cram at the deadline, like cramming for the test, like the day before. But it's an interesting thought. I think most of the money needs to be spent on pitching. And tomorrow we'll talk about some of the pitchers that are available. I think the pitching needs to come from maybe trades, but the question is, what do you have to trade? My answer to that every time when somebody asks, like, what do you have to trade? I go, I don't know. They always seem to trade something that's valuable every time the farm system gets depleted. There's names on that list that you don't even realize are, one, available, or two, you don't even realize that other teams want them. The trade thing is interesting. And there's a lot of pitchers that are available on the market. I think one that sticks out is a guy like Joe Ryan for the Minnesota Twins. I mean, what are the Twins going to do? We don't know what the Twins are going to do. I don't think the Twins know what they're going to do. And the thing is, as mentioned by Byron Buxton, I mean, he doesn't want to waive his no trade, but if they start trading away even more talent, doesn't look like they're going to be competitive during his particular tenure there, he's going to waive his no-trade clause. And then if that's the case, you're going to have a lot of the players that are not tied down to the ship asking to be traded. Joe Ryan's getting $5.8 million this year, potentially in arbitration. He's ARB3 next year. That is something that might be up the sleeve of the San Diego Padres. The other one is Pablo Lopez. Now, Pablo Lopez costs $21 a year. Only counts for $18 million towards the AAV, towards the salary cap. So maybe he might be affordable. Who knows? Maybe. And the other thing, too, is AJ Preller did a good job with these trades and getting teams to pay a lot of the contract down. I mean, the first year of Luis Arraez, the Padres didn't have to pay for him at all. They paid whatever, like, the small amount was that he had already been paid by the Marlins. The Marlins paid the rest of that one-year deal, or the first year of the two-year deal. Joe Ryan, age 29 and a half. I mean, if the Twins are selling and they're not going to have Joe Ryan as part of their conversation of the future, he's not going to cost a gigantic prospect name because he doesn't he only has 2 years of control. It's a little bit different. It's not like Mason Miller, who's, under control for 4 years or whatever it was. Now, Byron Buxton's another potential option. You don't need an outfielder. I don't think he's enough of a power hitter to make it justified. But he might be available too. I mean, I don't even know what the Twins do. I think is a big conversation for the offseason. I think the Padres are more likely to make a move via trade for the starting pitching than signing somebody big. And maybe you sign a couple of guys on the margins. But as of right now, yeah, I'd love to have Cody Bellinger on the team. Frank, would you love to have Cody Bellinger on the team?
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind it either. They don't have the money for that. If their budget is around $30 million because of what Spot Track has said and what Fangraphs has said in terms of where they think the numbers are for their money, then you can't spend $27 million of that on one player. It's a game. They're not in the conversation of making those moves right now. So it's an interesting conversation to have. We're going to have it the entire offseason. Again, it's been slow. I wouldn't even consider it a hot stove right now. It's a freezing stove. It's a stove in the wintertime in a house in Minnesota with no heater. That's what the stove is right now, Frank.
How far can you take that?
How cold it could be in a stove?
Go for it.
I mean, probably like a stove in Antarctica. In an abandoned building that used to house people that hasn't been touched by humans in like 3 or 4 years. The stove on the moon. Mars, the Martian stove.
There you go.
Could be freezing on one of the poles. I mean, how far do you want to go with this?
I was asking how far you could take it.
A stove on Uranus? I did that on purpose.
I know you did.
He wants to push the button so bad.
No, I don't want to push the button so bad.
Freezing. I had to interrupt Derek in La Mesa, by the way, when he mentioned Broncos. Just got to fire that every time. I got to hear it every time. All right. What's the conversation like in terms of the potential negotiating? Where are the players at? Where do they think they are at with the new collective bargaining agreement next year? Where are the owners at? This is the early indications of where things are at, where entities are not wanting to budge. We will talk about that to finish the show when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
To the full show or hour-by-hour breakdowns from 97.3 The Fan.
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
All guests on 97 to the Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Uh-oh. Fix the camera. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby coming up next with Gwynn and Chris. They're going to do their tribute to Randy Jones. We did ours earlier today. If you're just tuning in, Randy Jones passes away at the age of 75, a great man, a great person in the community, and somebody that, San Diego lost a really good man today or last night. I was fortunate enough to get to know Randy Jones and working in this field and working in this industry. I've interviewed him multiple times. Just a great, great human being that has left us now and has left this community, but has made a major impact on a lot of people's lives in San Diego. And we hope he rests in peace. Randy Jones, age 75, passed away yesterday. And I know Tony Gwynn Jr. and Chris Ello, who have known him a lot longer than I have, will have a lot of great stories to tell when it comes to Randy Jones on their show coming up in just a little bit. We do want to talk a little bit about this situation with Major League Baseball and the impending lockout, if you will. It just seems inevitable at this particular time. And we've gotten a little bit of information when it comes to the lockout with what happened at the general manager meetings. Again, full 2026 season is going to be fine. But it's what happens at the end of 2026. The collective bargaining agreement ends. And with that comes what is going to be a new collective bargaining agreement. And what is going on right now is Major League Baseball, their owners and their players disagree on a couple of things. Here's the updated information that you need to know. And Evan Drellich had a detailed article reporting on all of this, direct quotes from players, direct quotes from Tony Clark of the Players Association, direct quote from anonymous sources and people in front offices. I mean, it was a long article that laid out a lot of information. And in this article, Major League Baseball is riding its strongest wave of momentum in decades, driven by a thrilling World Series featuring superstar power, record international viewership, and a third straight year of attendance growth. Rule changes like the pitch clock, global stars, and a strong on-field product have executives unanimous. The sport is healthier than it has been in a generation. But underneath all the optimism is the single biggest threat to Major League Baseball's future: labor warfare. Current CBA expires after 2026, and early negotiations already show tension around competitive balance, payroll disparity, and the possibility owners push for a salary cap. A work stoppage in 2027, not just a lockout, but one that cancels actual games, is increasingly being talked about behind closed doors. Executives and agents alike fear that any missed games could derail MLB's momentum in a crowded entertainment landscape. One player agent said bluntly that if games are canceled, quote, they should both step down, referring to Commissioner Rob Manfred and Union Chief Tony Clark. Scott Boras, never shy, said baseball has never had this kind of momentum, and the NFL and NBA, quote, wish they had such a following. The parity debate is driving the conflict. MLB executives acknowledge huge economic disparities between franchises based on market size and media revenue, far more than the NFL and NBA. MLB presented numbers showing a top 10 payroll team has won the World Series 4 straight years. Bottom 15 markets haven't won a title since the Royals did in 2015. By the way, that Royals team had a top 10 payroll. Ratio of top 5 to bottom 5 payroll is 4.7, the largest ever recorded. It was 4.0 early in the CBA and 2.9 in the prior CBA. The union responded sharply, calling the league's numbers misleading because they include luxury tax payments, which don't go to players but are redistributed to small markets or fund player benefits. The Players Association counters with its own parity narrative. Since 2000, 16 different teams have won the World Series, more than the NBA, NFL, or NHL in that span. Caps in the NFL and NBA haven't magically created champions. 22 teams in those leagues combined still haven't won in that era. Executives also note MLB's product is simply better than a decade ago with more thoughtful league-wide planning. They insist competitive balance must be improved, but not at the cost of losing games. The question now facing MLB's leadership: how much change is worth risking games being canceled? The anonymous National League general manager sums it up the entire uncertainty. Quote, I truly don't know. Now, here's the thing. I understand what the players are saying, but their information is misleading also. The conversation is not about parity in terms of different teams winning all the time. The parity is giving opportunities to markets that are small. The parity argument is not that the Kansas City Chiefs have won multiple times in the last whatever, therefore it's not parity. The parity argument is, well, the Kansas City market is a market that has the ability to win a Super Bowl. In baseball, they don't have the ability to win a World Series. When they did, they had to be a top 10 spender in Major League Baseball, something that they cannot keep afloat in the long run. They can't do that. What people are talking about is, unfortunately, what the baseball players need to understand is everything involving baseball relies on local markets, unlike the NBA and the NFL, who rely on national TV contracts. The Padres being as good as whatever local TV network could potentially give them money is not the same as the NFL all sharing their money. And the NFL, small markets can win the Super Bowl. In Major League Baseball, small markets cannot win the World Series. The bottom 15 market hasn't won since 2015 when the Royals did it, and they spent money that they probably didn't have as high as a big market team. And guess what? They won the one, and that was it. And they've been trying to battle their way back ever since. The unions push again. It's like, well, it doesn't go to the players, the money doesn't. They want to talk about revenue sharing. Since 2000, MLB has more unique champions, right, than the NFL, NHL, NBA. But that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for an opportunity for the smaller markets to be able to compete. It's a game based on competitiveness. This is not a social versus capital conversation when it comes to economics. You're in a league that is trying to compete and make everything fair in terms of competition. These are rules for competition. If you change the rules for the inside of the game, it would be ridiculous. Nobody would believe it. But, that would be, everybody playing by the same rules on the field. Wouldn't that be socialist, right? You can't have a league where they're not all making the same. The players are employees of Major League Baseball, not necessarily like all the different teams on there. This is a industry that's built on everybody plays by the same rules and it's competition. Here's some quotes from executives. Orioles source: market size economics affect Major League Baseball more than NFL and NBA. It's true. Our local market affects how good the Padres are based on how much money they can make, how much money they can get in TV and radio deals. In every other league, they split it, as they should. They should share the revenue. This is not a conversation about capitalism and socialism. That is just absurd. It's sports, and you want to make it as fair as possible. Charrington in the quotes of the Evan Drellich conversation. MLB's planning around game health is better than ever. Major League Baseball is in a golden moment, but on the brink of self-inflicted disaster. People want to see teams be able to play by the same rules as everybody else. Like, building your roster should be on the same rules, not, well, however much money you make is what you can do. Otherwise, it's just going to be a 4-team league. And that's it. That's not fun to watch. You want to make your product fun to watch. If you don't think it's fun to watch, you're not going to watch it because it's not entertaining. The thing is, and Ben tried to explain it this morning on the morning show, this is on the terms of like missing games. Let me ask you this question, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Who has more resources to survive missing games?
The owners.
The owners or the players?
The owners.
Because the players right now don't mind, but those are the players at the top. Eventually, the guys near the bottom are going to need money. The stars at the top that have gotten the $35 million, $40 million, $50 million, $60, $70 million a year, they can withstand not playing for a year. You know who can't? all the guys making a league minimum. They have to play. So with every coming week that they don't play games hurts the players more than it hurts the owners, in my opinion. I don't know how it could hurt the owners. They don't have to pay the players, which is a big expense for them. They can fill their stadiums doing something else. They can still make money, or at least it's not going to hurt them as much. So the players holding out is interesting. But here's the other thing, too, and Ben explained it. If Major League Baseball is worth $1,000, let's just talk about it from a money standpoint, just to make it simple. See, Major League Baseball is worth $1,000, and the owners are getting $530 of those dollars, and the players are getting $470 of those dollars. The players are trying to fight to get closer to that 500 mark, so it's 50-50, right? That's kind of what they're trying to do. They want revenue share. They want equal revenue sharing, half and half. The problem is with missing games, and this is what Ben was alluding to, is if you miss the games and now baseball's only worth $800 and they split it 50-50, now the players are making $400 and the owners are making $400. It's 50-50, right? But both sides now, are they making more money or less money?
Less.
They're both making less. So sometimes it doesn't help anybody that they miss games. It's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt the owners for missing games, and it's going to hurt the players. They're going to hurt each other by missing games during this conversation, Frank.
Yeah. No, and it also doesn't help that neither side trusts the other side. Like, there is zero willingness to talk. There is zero willingness to compromise on either side, which is why everyone is so insistent that this is going to be a lockout and this is going to drag on, and it's going to cause the missing games, if not missing the entire season. It's going to be a nasty little fight, and we've already seen it with some of the stuff that happened at the end of last year, going all throughout this season, the leaks that we're getting from both sides about what the other side wants, what the other side doesn't want to talk about, and this and that. It's not, I don't see any way this comes to a neat, clean end.
The whole conversation about, like, well, the NFL has had more, they haven't had as many, champions.
That's just ridiculous.
It's not, what was it, the correlation is not the causation,
Yes.
whatever that saying is. There's still bad ownership groups in the NFL.
See the Jets,
the Bengals,
see the Raiders.
They all have the same budgets. Just because they have the same budget doesn't mean the teams aren't going to be like smart about it. The whole thing is make the players get spread out. But at least with the NFL, you have stars on every team.
You want to see the Pirates have a chance to win a World Series on a normal year, and not a year where everyone just says, bleep it, we're going to spend $500 million if it puts us in the poorhouse, and that's what it does.
They're playing by the same rules. That's all you would want. They're playing by the same rules. If the Pirates decide to spend all their money on one player that's washed up and can't do it anymore, that's their prerogative. But they have the same budgets. Everybody should have the same budgets. The winner of your sport should not be the winner because of the fact that they have more money than everybody else.
Exactly right.
You should have the same resources involved, especially at the professional level. I'm sure we're going to talk about this a lot for the next 2 years. But it was interesting to see some of the reports coming out of the general manager meetings. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, and Matt Scraby for the Gwynn and Chris. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Reigning MVP Josh Allen and the Bills look to get their season